play, put on play, 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 put on play, 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 put on. Long time coming, black on the bottom of my feet from running, cataracts under my eyes from hustling, going from buying to selling to customers, run up the business, God is my witness, sun up the sun up from under the sun that we maxing the limits, my mind running like Tom Cruise on an action movie, moving a mission, they say that I'm tripping, I've been told I need a vacation, I'm finessing a visit.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers and welcome to Stat Diggers for UFC Baku. We have Khalil Roundtree going against Jamal Hill. And yeah, it looks to be a pretty solid card coming up this weekend. We have 12 fights on it. Got the solid main event, Roundtree Hill. Really good co-main event this week. Raphael Fiziev going against Ignacio Bahamondes. We got my titty back Oral Boy making his big return. We got your boy Hamdy on the card. We got the return of Russian Ronda, Irina, Alekseeva. We got some solid fights on this card. I'm definitely looking forward to it. What is up, Weezy? Are you looking forward to UFC Baku as well?
Yeah, and you forgot to mention the rematch that everybody wanted. Daria Zheleznyakova against Melissa Mullins, part 2, Brady. Part 2.
Let's go.
So, yeah, this is going to be a fun card. Baku, Azerbaijan, in the heart of Central Asia, Brady, just above the Middle East. That's where we're going this week. And we're headlining with Khalil Roundtree and Jamal Hill, which seems like a weird main event for Azerbaijan, but not a weird main event. I mean, like a banger of a 205-pound fight. So I'm really looking forward to the main event. I'm looking forward to this card basically from top to bottom, other than maybe like, dude, if it wasn't Irina Alekseeva, you know, the Alekseeva Sygula fight would be horrible, but it's Irina Alekseeva. We have a history with her on this show. We like her. She does some of the best dance videos I've ever seen on whatever it is that's her medium, whether it's the Instagram, the TikTok, any of that, whatever it is. But yeah, I'm looking forward to breaking down this card because I think it's going to be a pretty fun one from top to bottom.
Yep, definitely looking forward to it. Before we get into the video, if you guys could do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We go live every Sunday, 10:15 Eastern time. And yeah, we were on time today, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what professionals do, Brady. Professionals show up on time and prepared to put on a very good show for the audience. So that's what we're here to do.
100%, 100%. All right, a couple things before we get into the recap. So I did. What was that?
Huh?
Is Colton? Is that you, Colton? What is that? Do you hear that?
I don't hear anything, man.
All right, let's just continue. Anyway, so I posted a poll about who needs to get some help. I gave 4 options: Rodolfo Bellato, Umar C, Joaquin Buckley, and poor Chris Moutinho. So make sure you guys vote. We already have 87 votes. Let's try to get 150 votes, and we'll get to that shortly. Let's do a quick recap of last night's card. So for me, I got my ass ate last night. My plan was, you know, I thought it was a very violent card. Thought there was going to be a lot of finishes. I mean, we got Mansour Abdul-Malik, Cody Brundage. We got Paul Craig, Rodolfo Bellato. We got Edmund Shabazian. That guy's a finisher. Loved violence last night. And kicked it off with some Jamie Lynn Horth late finish props. I didn't think they were terrible bets. Like, she was beating the brakes off of Demopoulos. Demopoulos was just very tough. And I also thought that Lynn Horth kind of took her foot off the pedal after that first round, because she was actually closest to finishing in that first round, landed an elbow. Looked like she was about to finish there. But yeah, kind of stopped coming forward for some reason, but ended up winning a 30-27 decision. So lost a half unit on that. This one is kind of upsetting. So I really liked Ricky Simon last week, and he was a minus 500 favorite. I kind of thought Ricky Simon was going to just run through Smotherman. Like, you can't get an easier matchup, in my opinion, than Cameron Smotherman, a guy that, you know, has been knocked out in 60 seconds or less twice, who can't stuff a takedown, who made Surrey City look like Khabib Nurmagomedov. I thought Simon on a full camp was going to go out there and take him down and kind of run right through him. But Ricky Simon, the guy that had a full camp, the third round started wheezy, and Ricky Simon looked at the clock with like 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third round. What are you doing? It looked like Smotherman had the full camp, and Ricky Simon took it on a week's notice. I didn't really understand that. So Charles Jourdain would have probably whooped his ass. I mean, that was a horrible performance from Ricky Simón. People were booing him, and rightfully so. I mean, that's your easiest opponent in a while, Ricky. So, but yeah, I was either underrating Smotherman or overrating Ricky Simón, or I don't know. It was just bad. But I had the under there. I had Jose Ochoa to win inside the distance, 1.25 units plus 165. Ochoa looked really good. Hurt dirt in the first round, finished him in the second. That was good. And then I had the Wellmaker to win and the under 1.5 same game parlay at minus 150. I actually got reverse CLV'd, and anytime I get reverse CLV'd, the bet hits every single time. CLV is an absolute curse. And Wellmaker went out there, and I thought we witnessed the first death in the octagon. I was actually really concerned for Chris Moutinho. Have you heard from Moutinho, Easy? Did he wake up yet or not yet?
Dude, I don't know, man. That was vicious. That was a vicious dude, when you fall straight forward, the referees are taught you get in there immediately, because when someone falls straight forward, it means that they're out, and the ref did a great job. I mean, Malcolm didn't follow up. Which is a good thing, because we all know Moutinho was going to get knocked out. We just kind of hoped it wouldn't be too violent, just because the guy, if it weren't for him, Wellmaker might not have even gotten a goddamn fight. Nobody was taking a Malcolm Wellmaker fight in Atlanta after what he did in his debut, after what he did on Dana White's Contender Series. Nobody's signing up for that. They went through 3 or 4 names before they got to Moutinho. So, I mean, I was hoping he wouldn't get hurt too badly in there, because, if it weren't for him, that we wouldn't have been able to even see Malcolm.
Yeah. So shout out to Moutinho for taking that fight. Jeez. But after that, after the Wellmaker knockout, 7 decisions and 1 no contest after that. Yikes. The Kesa fight sucked. I had the fight won't start round 3 in the Craig Bellotto fight, and to be honest, that bet was looking horrible. What's up with Paul Craig? Remember when Paul Craig used to be fun, used to be exciting, used to go out there. Now he's throwing spinning kicks. Come on.
Yeah,
I miss the old Paul Craig. So that fight was probably going on its way to going the distance. So I technically kind of got bailed out with it being a no contest, legal up kick. And Rodolfo Bellotto is one of the options to get help this week. Didn't have anything in the Minifield C fight. Oh, my biggest bet of the card, Wheezy. My favorite spot of the week. I had I think it's one of my biggest bets of the year. 3 units on the under 1.5 in the Mansour Abdelmalik Cody Brundage fight. And they go out there and proceed to play patty cake for 10 minutes. And as soon as the 3rd round starts, they do what I kind of thought they would do in the first round, and that's fight. I don't know if Mansour Abdelmalik is at the steakhouse right now, or maybe he went and purchased a yacht, but Mansour Abdelmalik by decision was paying plus 1,000 or greater. So shout out to Mansour Abdelmalik. You get to cash your decision prop, and you get to cash the over. Did either guy land a punch in the first 10 minutes of the fight? I don't think so. Maybe one.
I don't know.
I think Mansour landed 1 in the 2nd round, but yeah, they didn't start fighting until the 3rd. So I lose my under, and then my night's pretty much done. After that, I had the fight doesn't go to decision in the Barcelos Garbrandt fight. I really like that spot, to be honest. Garbrandt knocks down Barcelos in the first round and proceeds to dance for some reason instead of trying to finish him. And then Cody Garbrandt proceeds to not fight the rest of the fight, the last 10 minutes there. So the fight pretty much cruises to decision. I lose, the fight doesn't go there. This one's probably the weirdest one. I had Edmund Shabazian to win, but to win in rounds 1 or rounds 2. And Edmund Shabazian goes out there. And is Edmund Shabazian a fan of steak or yachts? Because Edmund Shabazian by decision had to have been paying something just crazy, because he never wins decisions. This guy's a finisher, more specifically in round 1. And he goes out there and proceeds to 30-27 Andre Petrosky. I don't think anybody was expecting a Edmund Shabazian masterclass over the course of 3 rounds. So that got me as well. I thought that was a very weird outcome. And then I finished it with the Usman Buckley under 4.5 rounds. Got it at plus money. The line didn't make sense to me because Buckley was minus 250. I kind of thought if Buckley was looking minus 250, he would be knocking out Usman. and if the fight did go over, it would look a lot closer. And it wasn't close because it was all in favor of Kamaru Usman for the majority of that fight. So yeah, down a 5 units in some change, gave back all the profit from last week and a little bit more. Very frustrating night. Not a ton of violence. 13 fights. Only 3 finishes. So yeah, Weezy, what were your thoughts on the card and how did you last night?
Yeah, so it was a rough card for me too, but like it was one of those cards where it just had me so sketched out, Brady. I mean, when you got like 13 fights and like 6 or 7 of the favorites are like minus 400, minus 500, minus 600, minus 700. I mean, it really scares me off of betting those fights, because you're either betting a bunch of value losers, or you find a couple spots and you hit it big, but that doesn't happen very often. So I kind of kept it really close to the vest. I only had one money line bet that I liked. It was Phil Rowe, and that was a great fight. That was one of the best fights in the night, dude. I mean, shout out to Horth and Demopoulos. They put on a little bit of a show, and then the Rowe-Lusa fight was fantastic. The Ochoa Durden fight was amazing. So that we started off pretty good, and then Malcolm Wellmaker blows the roof off of the place, and then everybody goes home. I mean, that's a lesson for you. Like no more warm-up fights for Wellmaker, man. Because when that guy comes out, the crowd's going to go nuts, and then there's the energy is just going to go downhill from there. So I had the 1 unit on Phil Rowe at plus 118. I almost added on at the last minute because a bunch of money came in on Luso late. And because I got reverse CLV'd, I'm like, oh man, this is hitting. It's definitely hitting. And then probably one of the best bets I've ever made in my life, Brady. It was 2 units on the over 2.5 rounds in Chiesa versus McGee. I mean, You want to talk about a sweat-free over. You want to talk about a perfect read. My read was that Chiesa wasn't going to have any grappling success because nobody has ever had grappling success against Court McGee. And because of that read, I figured this would be like one of the most tepid, low-paced striking matches ever seen, and that's exactly what it wound up being. But my probability parlay this week was that over 2.5 rounds for Chiesa McGee. It was Hani Barcelos to win, but then the third leg was Abdul Malik Brundage under 1.5. And I mean, it almost looked fixed, Brady.
Almost.
I mean, it almost looked fixed. I mean, like that. If you were to say like, hey, here's a fight that might be fixed in order to go over 1.5 rounds, like that would be one of them. Because I mean, like, come on, really? Cody and Abdul Malik, neither one of these guys are going to show up for fucking 10 full minutes. And then they're going to come out after the second round ends. Like each one of them murdered the other one's mother. They were looking to murder each other in the third round. But in the first and the second, neither one of them wants to throw a punch. It was just bizarre. And I think I'm officially going to retire, Brady, from laying juice on unders. Because I don't know if I'm a mush, but every time I lay juice on an under, it not only doesn't go under, but it comically, easily goes over with like completely no resistance whatsoever. Or the opposite happens where there's 14 deep submission attempts and 10 knockdowns, but the fight somehow goes on and it's just absolute pain. So I don't know. I think I might just maybe I'll bet unders when they're plus 250 or plus 300, but I am done laying minus 200 on fights where these guys are supposed to actually go out there and fucking fight instead of stare at each other for 10 minutes and not do anything. 2 guys whose power is their best attribute. They don't show any kind of fucking offensive will whatsoever. So just a bizarre night for me there, because that was the greasy 4-leg parlay would have hit if those guys had fought. The probability parlay would have hit if those guys had fought. And then I lost 2 units on the Petrosky-Shabazian fight, Brady, because I got Petrosky by decision at plus 500 early in the week. I thought that was a great play, because Petrosky is a good offensive wrestler and he's a position over submission grappler. I mean, it took him almost 3 rounds, full rounds to get Hu Yazong out of there. It took him almost 3 full rounds to get Michael Gilmore out of there. And he was nowhere close to finishing guys that had no resistance on the ground against him, like Fremd and Dylan Budker, right? So I'm thinking to myself, wow, here's a guy in Shabazian who's got serious power in his hands. And Petrosky's got no chin. So, of course, Andre Petrosky's going to wrestle, right? I mean, if he's not dumb, if his coaches have more than one brain cell to rub together, they're going to be like, hey, probably should wrestle this dude. Evidently not. Evidently he's a boxer now. And that didn't work out well for him because Shabazian just kind of picked him apart at range and 1 minute. So I lost a unit on Petrosky by decision, and I lost another unit on Shabazian by KO. And it's like, how the fuck did Shabazian not knock out Petrosky, who wasn't wrestling? What the fuck? I mean, really? It was pretty bizarre. It was a bizarre night overall. I mean, like, that up kick in the Bellato, was it an acting job? Was it a really good acting job? Or did he get kicked in the face and knocked out legitimately just because he went like this on the way down? I don't even know, dude. That's one of those ones that I could probably see an argument for both. The Sadabu, or not Sadabu C, Omar C doesn't wrestle. He fell in love with his hands and made a genius out of anybody who played Alonzo Menafield. Big up to anybody that did that. And then also, Kamaru Usman, Brady, how many times have we laid money on the aging veteran where we're hoping that they got one more fight left in them? Well, I can tell you 2 times where I fucking did it. Stephen Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley. Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley. I saw fit to bet the underdog. Was I betting Kamaru Usman this time around? No, because I'm a dumbass, Brady. Because I'm a dumbass. And I decided, I'm just going to stay away from the fight. Kamaru Usman hasn't won since you were like a sophomore in college. Joaquin Buckley's on a 6-fight winning streak. He's 7 years younger. He's been the far more active fighter. He's got a lot more power on the feet, and he's just been the much more active fighter. So, of course, I thought he was going to win by decision. And then Kamaru goes out there and 50-45s him? What? How? So I wound up, and I'm happy. Yeah. Brady, I lost 0.69 units, and I'm fine with it. Some shit didn't go my way. The Rowe fight, I could have lost that one. That was a great comeback win there in the 3rd round by Phil Rowe. A great fight. So I'm glad that one bounced my way. The Chiesa McGee over was a phenomenal bet. But if Cody and Mansour, I don't know if that was a steakhouse bet. I don't know if that was a fixed fight. But, I mean, those guys not coming out and fighting for 10 minutes, just absolutely bizarre. So happy to lose less than 1 unit and protect the big win that I had 2 weeks ago and move here to Baku and find some ways to find some winning bets here.
Yeah, last night's card gave me AIDS, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's just so good now that there's medication for that, Brady. You're going to be able to still live a productive life.
Okay, that's good at least. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can do that now. But I'm so sorry to hear that you got that. And yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going to be testing positive this week out going, God damn it, it was that UFC Atlanta card.
Yep, just sitting there for 10 minutes waiting for Abdulmalik and Brundage to fight. Now that wasn't fun.
God damn it. Is Colton at your place? Did you have to?
Oh, I had to take care of something.
Okay, good. All right, everything's all right though. We're good.
It's all taken care of.
Good. That's good.
Yep, heck yeah. All right, so to finish off the recap, we have to get to the Stat Diggers parlay of the week. And it loses because of the not the Petros, the under in the Mansour Abdulmalik Cody Brundage fight. It goes over. The Stat Diggers parlay crashes and burns, and Mansour Abdulmalik is on a yacht somewhere right now, laughing his ass off with Jose Johnson. They're both with a bunch of 3 hoes each, maybe 4 hoes each, after hitting that decision ticket at plus 1,000. So shout out to Mansour Abdelmalik. Not only do you get your win bonus, you cashed a fat bet at plus 1,000. That decision prop plus 1,000. So shout out to Mansour Abdelmalik for that. Let's see. So the on-site piping of the week, Malcolm Wallmaker to pipe Chris Moutinho on site, and that's what we're looking for. When people ask, what is a piping? What is an on-site piping? This is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. This is the definition of an on-site piping. Malcolm Wallmaker, congratulations, you piped Chris Moutinho on site. No goons needed. No goons needed. And it's come to an end. The milking of the week was on a 13-fight winning streak, undefeated, never lost. And to be honest, it was tricky last week because last week we talked about it. There were really only two options for milking last week. Jamie Lynn Horth or Umar C. And we went with Umar C to take down Alonzo. Nope. Put him on the mat. Nope. And drain him for everything he has. Nope. Whole milk. Nope. Yikes. We were correct about the yikes. That was right.
Yeah.
Yikes was right because that was a yikes performance. Umar C loses. I think he closed at like minus 1,000 or minus 900, something like that. Not too often we see a men's minus 1,000 favorite lose. Like very rarely. Like Dean Barry comes to mind.
Yeah.
Was it Devontae Smith, I think, against Kamaworthy? That comes to mind. Other than that,
Peyton Talbot versus Johnny Barcelos. Yeah.
Peyton Talbot. Other than that, not a ton of big men's favorites losing as minus 1,000. So the milking of the week comes to an end. But luckily, Weezy, we have some really solid options for milking of the week. I have two potential names circled already. We're getting right back on track, and I think we're going to get back on track in very brutal fashion with some of the milkings I see this week.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And I just want to point out a couple of things that if anyone out there got their ass shaved last week, I'm looking at my betting models from last week. Shabazian by decision, which was sitting around plus 500 almost. One of 14 wins in his career by decision for Edmund Shabazian. Andre Petrosky had never lost by decision. So one of 17. So my model had that as a 3.82% probability, and it hit. Let's talk about Abdul Malik by decision. 0 of 8 wins in Abdul Malik's career by decision. Cody Brundage, 2 of 6 losses by decision. One of them was the Cedriques Dumas one who just laid on top of him. And the other one was a 3-round wrestling match with Nick Maximov. So my model had that priced with an 89% win probability at only 12.7%. And then let's talk about Alonzo Menafield by decision, Brady. Because Menafield by decision, 3 of 16 wins. 3 of 16, 13 of his 16 wins are finishes. This guy's won minutes 3 times in his life, and he did it against a guy who has never lost a fight in Umar C. So it was a wild one, man. If you were calling any of those things, it was crazy. And we had a no contest, and we had, so it was just a wild night.
Yep. And that's why I have AIDS. So You heard it here first. I have AIDS. Best of luck to me. So let's see who needs help. Weezy, we have 4 options: Rodolfo Bellato, Umar C, Joaquin Buckley, Chris Moutinho. I think all 4 need help in their own way. But who do you think the viewers thought needs help the most?
Well, I know who I picked. I picked Umar C because he was a minus like 800 favorite, and he did not grapple offensively except for in one of the 3 rounds, and that was the only round he won. So I don't know what the hell he was waiting for, man. I'm like, he was the first big parlay buster there.
Yep. I'd probably pick C as well. So 149 votes, which we like to get around that 150. So shout out to you guys for that. In 4th place, Joaquin Buckley, 9%. In 3rd place, Chris Moutinho, 14%. In 2nd place, Umar C, 29%. And then 1st place, Rodolfo Bellato needs help, 46%.
Yeah, I don't really have much of a comment. Do you feel like one way or another that was a fake job or not?
Yeah, so I was very drunk watching the fight live, but I did go back and watch it today. And what I noticed is, so he gets up kicked, right? And then Bellato looks at the ref. He's like, "Oh, I just got up kicked." And then you can't really see it. You get to look really closely. He falls back. It looks like he hits his head on the canvas very hard. And then I think that could have potentially knocked him out. Either that or just some really, really good acting. I mean, trying to fight the ref, that's next level stuff there. But yeah, so he got up kicked. He looked at the ref. He was still conscious. He falls back, hits his head, and I think if he went out, I think that's when he went out, and if not, then it was an acting job.
Yeah, I really don't know, because if it was an acting job, it's the best one we've seen yet. I mean, way fucking better than Luana Pinheiro.
Oh yeah.
Way better than Brundage against Malkoun. Way better than a lot of the other ones that we've seen in there. He, waking up all of a sudden and doing the thing with the feet and trying to get an underhook on the ref. It's brilliant. It's fucking brilliant. If that was acting, congratulations, chef's kiss to Rodolfo Bellato. And if it wasn't, he got kicked in the head while he was down. Can't blame him for that. So I say good on Bellato either way. Either you had one of the best acting jobs and one that will be studied for generations of fighters and cheaters to come, Brady, or, you just got fouled and it wasn't your fault.
It's been an eventful month for Rodolfo Bellato. Got herpes a couple weeks ago, and now is probably going to land in an acting role somewhere in a movie. So very eventful, very eventful. All right, so let's get to the chat. So there's literally probably over 100 or so messages. I'm going to try to get through these as much as possible. If I skip your comment, don't be mad, because if I went through all these, we'd be here till like 3:00 in the morning. What I do got to get to first is my guy Daz. Shout out to Daz Files with the $10 donut. Appreciate you, Daz. He says, man, Sir Malik needs to get some help. Edmund Shabazian get some help. Had unders, both those guys. FFS. Yeah. Didn't have enough room to add those, but yeah, Malik would probably be on the list as well. Brundage, just both of them for that fight. And then, I mean, does Shabazian need help? I mean, at the end of the day, he won the fight. Honestly, Shabazian fought smart. Like, he didn't blow his load.
He did.
And he kind of took his time.
He didn't. Edmund did.
So what?
I said Petrosky didn't fight smart. He didn't wrestle enough.
Oh, yeah.
Edmund did fight smart because he didn't overcommit to the striking, which didn't allow Petrosky to kind of like get in on his hips and find those takedowns. So he got the job. I just did not see the fight playing out that way, man.
No, not at all. If you told me the fight was going to decision, I thought almost for certain it'd be Petrosky wrestling him. So
exactly.
We appreciate you, Daz. We got Glimbot as well. Thanks, gentlemen, for the work you do. Glimbot had a good night last night. Shout out to you. Appreciate you, Glimbot. We got Low T City Ortega. Chris Moutinho deserves a 10-fight deal, and I agree. I agree because unlike some of these fighters, recently, there's been a lot of fighters recently who just don't look like they want to fight. They go in there, they go to the center of the cage, they pull down their pants, and they take a massive shit in front of the fans, in front of their corner, in front of their teammates, in front of everybody watching around the world. They take a massive shit and don't want to fight. But Chris Moutinho, guys like Chris Moutinho, he's not is he the best fighter? No, but he goes out there and he's not going to take a shit in the octagon. He's going to go out there. He's going to fight. Yeah. He's going to go out on his shield. We got to sign Chris Moutinho. We got to sign Daniel Da Silva, Liang Na, Jordan Wright, the Beverly. We need guys and girls that want to fight, want to be there, not just go out there and play patty cake and slap ass for 15 minutes. It's embarrassing. It's not fun to watch.
Nope. Brady, this had to be the lowest winning score ever on DraftKings. Whoever won UFC Atlanta probably looked at their lineup and was like, "Oh wow, I scored like 430 points. I do this every fucking week." And then you look at like, how am I optimal with this? Like somebody mentioned, like Alonzo Menefield scored 42 points in a win.
Oh God.
Like I saw that I had Usman in my lineup. He scored over 100. I was like, oh my God, I got over 100 points out of one fighter.
Crazy, man. It's crazy. We got Elijah on first one in the building. Let's go. Get some wrestling shoes, Joaquin Buckley. And yeah, I think you touched on this, Weezy. I was a fight too late with fading Joaquin Buckley. I was on Colby Covington. I actually really like Colby in that fight quite a bit, and I thought Colby would kind of do what Kamaru Usman did. So my question to you is, how bad is Colby Covington? My God.
Yeah, shout out to John Stargarian from the Club and Sub podcast. There's a term that he uses that I just absolutely love, and it's turbo washed, where you're just not washed. You got that special hose, and the water's coming out at like 3,000 miles an hour, and it'll just clean the shit off of anything. That dude is turbo washed. It's going to be a max bet the next time Colby Covington steps into the cage, because that dude can't wrestle anymore. His cardio is dog shit. He doesn't give a fuck, and he's not knocking anybody out ever. So, yeah, I can't wait to see who's next for Colby, because I'm going to be shorting his ass.
Yeah, I mean, if he ever steps foot in the cage again, he's getting smoked. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with Colby Covington, but
yeah, he's done for. Hey, Father Time's undefeated.
Yeah.
It's not like Colby sucks. He's just fucking old now, and you get past it at certain points. But evidently, Kamaru is not past it, because that is not some bum that he beat last night. That's a guy on a 6 fucking fight win streak.
yeah,
That's a guy that's 31 years old. It's in his physical prime right now. Great power and speed for somebody as strong as he is. So that's a great win for Kamaru.
Yep, it absolutely was. We got gold caps. We got UFC picks and balances. ESPN sucks. Yeah, hopefully they're dumb. I'm sick of having to go to the sketchiest websites in the world to tape some of these fights. Like, I feel like I have multiple viruses on my computer.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm hacked.
Dude, I pay for that shit and it doesn't work. 2 weeks in a row. That I had to leave and go to my friend's place 2 weeks ago. This week I had to change browsers.
Ugh.
I had to change browser. Like, they won't even let me use it on the Brave browser. It's like, how dare you? Like, you won't let me use a product that I pay for unless you track me too. I mean, come on, man, get some ESPN Plus. If I would waste another 5 minutes doing another rant on how badly they suck. And shame on the UFC for doing business with them. But we've heard it all before, Brady. I got to fill up my water. Keep saying hello to the people.
I got you. Hamdy fight week. Unfortunately, it is. What else do we have here? And I agree, Forrest. Brady and Uncle Weezy are on time. Every time, never late. What's up, Forrest? Good to see you. Let's see. Glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, I had issues early on in the card, but mine got fixed by the second fight. What's up, TH? Good to see you. No, not true, Nate. Come on. UFC needs to get some help right now. Strip John Jones's bum ass and start paying all fighters who get a finish. Kind of like what I was saying. Like, let's sign some fighters who want to go out there and fight. It'd be nice. Abdul Malik. Yeah, I don't know if he bet the round 3 or decision. He probably bet the round 3 or decision prop, which is still probably a big plus money number. So shout out to him for that. What's up, boys? I got hosed. I need a Malik by KO. Oh, my brutal beat. I stopped watching for a bit after I saw the KO and wondered why my bet didn't cash. Yikes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Brutal beat. Back to the drum board. Agreed. Hamdy, the only man on the UFC roster with chest hair edge sharper than my lawn. Jeez. Ryan Henson reposted this. Appreciate you, Ryan. It means a lot. Ryan checking in from Etch. Appreciate that. Let's see. We got Taylor saying wild viewing experience for me last night. Went to see an emo tribute band at a bowling alley music venue in Lafayette, and they had the fights on 2 screens above the lanes. That was a first. There you go. There you go. I love when venues and places have the fights on. We got to get Brady a dog. Yeah. I need something to protect me from Colton G and his goons, man. Brady's fried. Maybe a little bit. I'm convinced Brady's house is haunted. It might be. Something's going on. Congrats on the rim job. Appreciate that. Nothing wrong with a nice rim job. We got Dr. Peener. What's up, Dr. Peener? Good to see you. He is a penis trauma surgeon. Good to see you. Whoever is on Usman or Usman by the Usman Moneyline in general, very sharp read.
Yeah,
Very sharp
much.
read.
Yeah.
Usman was an easy lock. He looked like a lock. Jeez. Absolutely looked like a lock last night. We got I got to read your name to make sure you're not going to maybe say like eat a dick or something. It's Marcus Erickson. Yes. Shout out to Marcus. First time I'm here live. Put me on the screen. Well, you made it, man. You made it on the screen. Good to see you. Good to see you. I don't think Moutinho did enough for first ballot Hall of Fame. Maybe first ballot of getting hit in the face, right? I mean, that man, he gets hit so much. He
Does.
Brundage should have won on the cards, or am I crazy? I mean, nobody did anything, but no, I think Malik had the bigger moment in the second round. I don't think anybody landed anything in the first round. I don't know. I think they both deserved to lose. I mean, that was awful. Mansour Malik bet on himself to win by round 3 TKO and now owns multiple cartels. Alonso decision 10-1. Yeah, 10-1 decision for Alonso, 10-1 decision for Mansour Malik. Some of the props that Cash lost last night were wild. Absolutely wild. We need to put Alice Ardeline on every card to make it better nowadays. Yeah. She actually wants to go out there and she wants to fight. You know, fighters like Alice Ardeline. What about Mike Breeden? You know, I like, you know, those guys that go out there and have that dog in them. You know, Alice has that dog in her.
Dude, they cut Breeden after he whooped Jubilee's ass in the third round. Great come from behind win. They flew him all the way out to Abu Dhabi to lose. He pissed them off by winning, barking at this young man. And then they cut him. Like, it's bullshit.
It's bullshit. I mean, let's get Gabriel Moran on every single card from now on. Put Moran, let him get knocked out brutally on every single card going forward. Let's get some knockouts. Dana himself needs to be cut. Yeah, I don't know what Dana's up to nowadays. I don't know what he's doing. We got Narco in the building. Good to see you, Narco. Hopefully you did well last night and enjoyed the wild card. On dinner break for my poker tournament. There you go, chilling in my room, listening to the boys. Best of luck on your poker tourney. Hopefully you absolutely smoke it. Who was that fighter that did really good on the poker tournament? Was it Tricoli? Tricoli did really good on.
I think I saw that he went really far.
Yeah, he won a good amount of money, Tricoli. He said that he won more money than he made fighting.
So good. Good for him, man.
What else we got in here? Thank God for Phil Rowe. Yeah, Phil Rowe, that was a great that was your typical Phil Rowe performance. Losing the fight and then comes back and gets a second or third round win. I don't know if the AIDS is full blown, but it might be. It might be.
I hope it's not full blown, dude.
It might be. I don't know.
Pray for Brady. We need to start a GoFundMe. Brady needs help, you guys.
Yeah, AIDS is it's not good. I do not forgive Omar C, our beloved milking. Yeah, it's sad, man. It was sad. It was just terrible. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of C for the milking. Didn't bet this time. Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, it's minus 1,000. There's not much you could do. And then, like I said, there weren't many options. It was either C or Horth. What else we got? Maverick was robbed. I don't know. I barely paid attention to that fight, to be honest. Umar was exposed. Terrible showing. I think Umar is going to win a lot of fights, actually. I just think it depends on the opponent. Alonso's takedown defense is very good, and he also came out there with just a terrible game plan. Has Brady ever watched the fight sober? I watch the fight sober all the time.
Yeah, me too. I will get drunk every once in a while and get really ripped, and I always forget them then. Whenever I get drunk, I'm always like, what the fuck happened? You know?
Yeah, very rarely will I not be sober for the fights. Very rarely. Buckley needs help. Slap. Yeah, I don't mind slapping ass, but if you're in the cage, I mean, you probably should be fighting, not slapping ass, right? I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, it is. I'm a black belt in ass slapping, but I mean, like,
telling me
nobody's gonna put me in the cage and want to watch that. You know, that's something I do in my free time that I enjoy.
Agreed.
You know.
Agreed. Yeah. Back to the drum board. What is everyone's goat milk percentage? Oh boy.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have like 1,000 straight goat milk.
What's up with this goat milk? I mean, it's not even funny. Like it's actually
we're getting raided.
Kind of sad.
We're getting raided by somebody else.
There we go.
Yeah.
Any other comments I should pull up? before we get into it. Anything of substance? No, there's not. Okay, we do got to shout out the sponsor of the show, though, and that is our guy, Avery. Shout out Avery for sponsoring the show, guys. Go give him a follow, MMA_very on X. Thank you, Avery, for keeping the show alive every Sunday night at 10:15 Eastern Time. Moving on to the UFC Baku, easy 12-fight card. We're going to kick it off with a fight that was supposed to, well, both these guys were supposed to have different opponents. It was supposed to be Oban Elliott versus Ramiz Brahimaj, and it was supposed to be Ko versus Billy Goff. So they actually did the whole switcheroo, and Ramiz and Billy Goff fought each other, and then now they're doing Ko versus Elliott. But yeah, Ko, he's 31 years old, 5'10" with a 71-inch reach. Elliott, 27 years old, 6 foot with a 72-inch reach. We got Elliott 4 years younger. Elliott with a 2-inch height advantage and a 1-inch reach advantage. Ko is 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He had a decision win on the Contender Series against Igor Cavalcanti and won that fight. As far as Elliott, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. He had a decision win against Britu on the Contender Series, decision win against Val Woodburn, decision win against Preston Parsons, and then a knockout win against Basil Hafez in this one. So, yeah, so Ko went out there and beat a guy in Igor Cavalcanti who just was a complete unknown. Like, it's kind of tough sometimes with these Contender Series fights. A lot of times there's not a ton of footage available. But with Igor, I was literally not able to find one fight at all. The only thing I was able to find was like a 5-second clip of him getting a finish. The dude hadn't been out of the first round, I don't believe. So that win really doesn't tell me much. Elliott seems to be the real deal. The only knock on Elliott in the past was, he could slow down as the fight went on. The durability late could be a potential issue. He has been finished twice in the 3rd round, but he seems to have patched that up. He seems to have made a ton of improvements, and Elliott seems to be the real deal. And now he's getting Ko here, who I'm just not completely sold on. So, yeah, I think it should be Elliott. Elliott was a massive favorite against Ramiz. He was like minus 500, and I think he's probably around, minus 550 against Ko here. And I think he probably gets it done. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight here?
Yeah, my thoughts is that Ko's got a ton to prove here, because the Cavalcanti win, like this guy had an average fight time of 90 seconds. So, of course, he went out there swinging for the fences, and Ko was just being a southpaw and being a pretty good boxer. He kind of maintained good range, didn't get hit, and then was able to he does everything actually kind of well. I think he's got a little bit of a sambo background. He's a boxer. He's a southpaw. He's the Korean Mike Tyson. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know
Mike
that.
Tyson's a really good boxer, so I got to believe that this guy's going to be absolutely starching fools in there, or we could say you can be starching fools, like Tyson would. And I don't think he's going to have much of a ceiling though at this level, because the boxing looks okay. He's got some judo, he could get some good throws in the clinch. But I mean, when you look at the wins, oh my God, Alwin Kinkai, did you see that fight? Dude's 41 years old and from Indonesia.
Oh,
I mean, I looked at when they put the camera on him, Brady, I actually laughed. I did. I was like, oh, come on, really? And he just went out there and shaved this guy's ass. It was so one-sided. I don't know who sanctioned that fight, but Alwin Kinkai was a bad win. And most of the other ones that I saw when I watched the tape on him, he doesn't look spectacular against really low-level Asian scene opponents. So Oban, who's come out here and he's proven himself not only in Cage Warriors against a better level of regional scene competition, against current champion right now, Sheehan, I think. The Brito fight, he showed some really good come-from-behind instincts there. We've seen it a couple of times. He had tough fights on the regional scene. He fought Figlak. He fought Flaminas. He's fought some good fighters on his way up. So I'm talking big time level of strength to schedule advantage here on the Elliott side. Elliott has proven himself under the UFC banner, going 3-0 in the UFC, 1-0 on the Contender Series against a tough opponent. And, he even got a finish last time out against Basil Hafez, who's a tough dude to finish. So I do think that Oban, it's going to be hard for Ko to find places to win minutes or moments here, because he's going to be the smaller guy. He's got a little bit of a reach disadvantage here. Oban's got pretty good wrestling offensively, and defensively, he proved against Parsons that, you can try to take this guy down, but he does the right things. He's got pretty good hips. So I think Oban's going to be a little bit better than this guy everywhere. But unfortunately, I don't think Oban Elliott's a guy that you want to be, laying massive juice on, but he's doing all right. I mean, he covered at minus 290 versus Hafez and looked really good there. He covered it versus Val Woodburn at minus 400 and looked there, and cashed as a plus 150 underdog versus Preston Parsons. So, I think that this is going to be Oban Elliott.
Yep, me too. We got Elliott minus 550, Co plus 400. The over/under set at 2.5 rounds. The over 2.5 is minus 152. The under 2.5 rounds is plus 122. It's kind of interesting total because these guys have 4 losses combined. All 4 of them have finished inside the distance, but kind of think this one probably goes to decision. But yeah, don't have a really strong read on the total, and I'm not laying minus 550 on Elliott. I think money's actually came in on Elliott. He was sitting at minus 400 yesterday, so money's coming in on him. Probably people parlaying him up.
Oh, dude, when I put the sheet together for this fight, I updated it today. I saw Elliott at minus 240.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude. So there's been a ton of money coming in on the Elliott side here. And yeah, Co's got a lot to prove. He's got a lot to prove.
Yeah. What do you guys got in the chat here? Let's see. I want Elliott to potentially shave ass here. Potentially. We got Marcel. What's up? Bring back Boston Solomon. Why not?
Let's remember him, dude. Who did he fight on the Contender Series? He fought Tercios, didn't he?
I forget. I remember his. I think he got sparked by what's his face. Was it Randy Costa? Somebody sparked him. I remember.
It might have been Costa, but I think Boston Salmon on the Contender Series fought Tercios.
Yeah, we got to get back in
long time ago.
Yeah, he got sparked by Randy Costa in 2 minutes. He got sparked by Khalid Taha in 25 seconds.
Oh God, it's not good.
Jeez. So yeah, his UFC run did not go to plan. Boston, boom, boom, Salmon. Let's go.
All right. Yeah, there we go.
Let's go. Oban, a potential milking. Okay. Potential milking. We got Melissa in the building. Gummy Gang has entered the chat. What's up, Gummy Gang?
Yay. Stand up.
Ban Melissa. Why? Why? Girls are allowed. I mean, appreciate you, Dixon. Yeah, gotta be smart. Free. Oh, he's free. He's out.
Yes.
Somebody bailed him out. And the bond was like 100 and some thousand.
Dude, I think we should be taking credit for it. Actually, now
right.
we didn't actually give any of our money, but I feel like we sparked that interest of people to get the Hood Wolf freed and back on the streets so that he could be arrested for a 16th time sometime in the near future.
17th. Yeah. I know it's hard to keep track. I have it tallied on my fridge. Each time he gets arrested, it's added tally. My wife's like, "What is that?" Don't worry about it.
Is that how you're teaching your son how to count?
Yeah. So this one was for hiding in a dog crate. This one was for assault with a deadly weapon.
All right, son. How many times did Fidriques get arrested in 2023? Is it 1, 2? Yeah, man. That's a great teaching tool. I love it.
Yeah. He can only count to 16 though. So only can count to 16. All right, let's move on to the next fight. It is going to be she's back.
Yeah.
She's back. Irina Alekseeva. And she's taking on Klaudia Sygula. She is back. Alekseeva, she's coming back after popping for, what did I read she popped for? Testosterone?
Oh, Jesus. Did she really?
I believe so. Something that has to do with some testosterone. Maybe some other things as well. I think she also tested positive for a very good haircut as well. Yeah. She tested positive for a very good haircut. But yeah, she's back. She's back. I think she had like a year or so ban. She is 34 years old, 5'8", 66-inch reach. Sygula, 26 years old, 5'8", 69-inch reach. Sygula, 8 years younger, same height, 3-inch reach advantage for Klaudia Sygula. Alekseeva, 4-1 in her last 5 fights. Made her debut against Stephanie Egger. I believe she missed weight by a ton. She showed up and she did the whole dance. That was the whole dance video. Not to pull it up, but she did a dance video, a dance routine. She missed weight. She showed up as a big dog and submitted Stephanie Egger in the very first round. Great win. And then she lost to Melissa Dixon, who we'll talk about the next fight after that. As far as Klaudia Sygula, she made her debut against Melissa Dixon, Melissa Mullins, lost that fight by second round KO. So, yeah, I saw this fight was booked, and I got excited for a couple reasons. I think Alekseeva is a very handsome woman, and I also am excited to see her fight. I think she brings like a fun style to the table, and I think that the line should be very wide here for Russian Ronda here, and because Klaudia Sygula is probably the worst to ever do it, Wheezy. She's probably the worst to just ever. One of the worst ground games I've ever seen. You go through her fights, and she's getting taken down. She's getting submitted. She's getting controlled. And a lot of her fights have like custom rules where you're not allowed to get takedowns. You can kind of see why. Like if the fight hits the mat, she has there's a Elise Reed level grappling, and then there's a big jump, and then there's Klaudia Sygula. I was all over Melissa Mullins to finish Sygula. Her ground game is very bad. And I got to think if Alekseeva gets Sygula down once, that the fight's probably over shortly after. And I think Alekseeva will. She has that judo. She's very strong, very handsome. I think she's going to throw down Sygula, get on top, and it's probably a wrap. So, yeah, I like Alekseeva here, and she is a big favorite, which is concerning, right? She's almost minus 260, but at the end of the day, I think she goes out there and I think she gets it done. Weezy, what are your thoughts about this very interesting matchup?
Yeah, Irina's on a 1 year and 7 month layoff. It'll be like a year and 8 months by the time fight day gets here. So it's been a long time since she's fought. And was that because she tested positive in the last fight?
Yeah, she tested positive.
And that was in the Dixon fight, the Melissa Mullins now.
Yeah.
All right. So that's probably the reason for the long layoff. Maybe there's not any here, let me look and see if there were any canceled fights. No. So it looks like it was just a long suspension for Irina. And was it the steroids or the haircut that they suspended her for?
I think a little bit of both. I mean, I think it was probably a year for the steroids and maybe a couple months for the haircut. Look,
I mean, like when you're a professional at anything, you can't really expect that people are going to stand for it when you show up with a haircut like that. Yeah, there's Zoya. There's our girl. That's one of her best wins, ladies and gentlemen. That's one of Claudia's best wins.
This picture right here made me so much money. I saw this picture, Melissa Mullins inside the distance. I didn't even need to tape the fights. I didn't even need to look at Sygula. How's her ground game? How's her striking? This picture right here told me everything I need to know about how good of a fighter or how bad of a fighter Klaudia Sygula is. So it was this picture right here, legendary.
Just legendary. And, frankly, Irina's wins aren't much better. She did get that win over Egger, which was a good win. And I guess Stephanie Page in Bellator isn't bad. At least Zlata Jeftor is 5-5. At least she's got 5 wins, But, yeah, the level of competition that Sygula fought, terrible. The ground game is terrible. And, yeah, it looked like a really rough performance her first time out. Probably a little bit easier of a fight this time around, frankly, against Melissa. Than it was against Melissa last time out, because Melissa's got a really good ground game. Alekseeva probably not as good as Melissa Mullins' ground game, I think, because Melissa's a BJJ brown belt, but she's got really good ground and pound, too. We saw it, actually, when she got finishes. We'll talk about them because she's on this card too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that later. But yeah, Irina should get the job done. But I mean, I don't want to lay juice on her, dude. And she's on a 1 year and 7 months layoff here, and that's very concerning when you're talking about Irina pushing 35 years of age. She's been very inactive, and I don't like inactive fighters. But it's not like Klaudia has a lot to lean on where we're like, okay, this is going to be somebody that's going to win fights at this level. I don't see it yet.
Yeah, I don't know what Sygula is doing in the UFC, to be honest. But yeah, you don't want to lay minus 260 on Alekseeva, even though she is looking really handsome. I'm checking her instant. She looks extra handsome this time around. She has the frosted tips.
Oh,
nice short curly hair.
That's a great look. You know, I mean, like the Eastern Europe, like Russia thing, they're always about 20 years behind the haircuts and the music. So I could picture her listening to some Scorpions right now while getting her tips frosted. You know, I think it's probably pretty cool. Maybe watching Conan the Barbarian on a VHS tape.
Let me look at her. I mean, she's very handsome.
Like I thought that was Chase Hooper for a sec. What the?
Is that Chase Hooper? No, it's Alekseeva.
God. Well, she's just as handsome.
Yeah. Jeez, what's going on?
She's got a beautiful head of hair on her. Is that a perm?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely. And this is another legendary hype video. Yeah, I posted this one today. Look at that. Look at those moves.
With the sunset in the background. It's great stuff.
Wow.
Okay, well, she's back, Brady. She's back, and we got her a winnable fight. So it's Irina Alekseeva season.
It's kind of a fight IQ test here because on the feet, like Sygula striking is pretty solid. It's just once the fight hits the mat, it's like it's bad. Like it's very, very bad. So if Irina wants to win this fight and look anywhere near minus 300, you got to get the fight down to the ground. And Irina on the feet is a walking punching bag. She's very tough, but she's very hittable. So we'll see. We'll see. Alekseeva minus 260, Sygula plus 220, over-under set at 2.5. The over 2.5 minus 200. The under 2.5 is plus 160. I cannot wait for this fight. Cannot wait for this fight at all. What's up in the chat here? We got Corey. Sorry I'm late. I just got custody back. Bet my firstborn on the under on the Petrosky and that skinny Armenian who sucks.
Oh no.
Jeez. Hate to see it. Hate to see it. We got Dravi in the building. Russia Ronda fight week. Brady, I know you're hyped. You are. Well, you know how hyped you are while doing the research for this one. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I was very hyped. Very hyped. That's a school yearbook photo. It's legendary. Sygula fights like your local mom at Walmart. Come on, guys. Only 66. Yeah, let's try to get to 100 likes. We got 410 people watching between YouTube and X. Let's try to get 100 likes in there. We'd appreciate that, guys. That was Spirit Week at her high school. Yeah. Brady, sounds like Brady just described Justin Timberlake. Under 2.5 in the Irina fight is plus 150. She will go full retard for sure. If with a haircut like that, it wouldn't shock me. Did we just say she got her tits frosted? No, her
tips. TIPS. Yes, frosted tips.
Yeah, I don't know if her tits are frosted or not. I don't know.
It's none of our business.
None of our business. Okay. Let's see. Alekseeva versus Perez would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
And agree. Shout out to
Michael
Mr.
Torres.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes. All right. Let's move on to the next fight. And it is going to be Uncle Weezy's guys. Hamdy's back going against Muhammad Usman. Got Hamdy, 32 years old, 6'2" with a 72-inch reach. Usman, 36 years old, 6'2" with a 79-inch reach. Hamdy 4 years younger, same height. Usman with a 7-inch reach advantage. Hamdy is 4-0 and 1 no contest in his last 5 fights. Made his debut against Dontel Mays, lost that fight, or turned into a no contest because he popped for all the steroids, and then beat Jamal Pogues by decision his last time out. As far as Usman, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Zach Palga, decision win against Junior Tafa, decision win against Jay Collier, and then decision losses to Mick Parkin and Thomas Peterson. So, yeah, I mean, we know how this fight's going to play out. Hamdy's going to wrestle a little bit in the first round. He's going to completely death gas, and then these guys are just going to just jab each other for the last 10 minutes of the fight. It's going to be close. It's going to be greasy. And the scorecards are pre-written, and they're written in favor of our guy Hamdy Abdelwahab. So even if he loses the fight, they're going to give it to him. So yeah, I think Hamdy wins by default. Whether he loses the fight or not, the judges, these scorecards are pre-written and looking his way. We have Hamdy is sitting at, money came in on Usman. A lot of money came in on Usman. Hamdy was all the way at like minus 200, I thought. Yeah, minus 205 yesterday. He's currently sitting at minus 161. Usman was plus 180 yesterday, and he's currently plus 141. So some money is coming in on Usman, and it makes a lot of sense. But at the end of the day, I think Hamdy probably wins a very, very minus EV decision. Fight probably looks 50-50. The value is on Usman, but I think they probably give it to Hamdy there. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this? This is a god awful. This is a god. If I was a matchmaker, I was with Dana White, and we were all in the room trying to come up with some solid fights, and Dana was like, make me the shittiest fight you could possibly think of. This would be it. This would be the worst fight I could possibly put together. Would be Hamdy Abdelwahab, Muhammad Usman. So I could give less of a fuck for this one. But I know you're a big fan of Hamdy, Weezy, so you're probably more excited about it than me.
Yeah, don't listen to a word Brady just said. It's one of the worst breakdowns you're ever going to hear on YouTube. This guy's a future champion right now. Hamdy Abdelwahab, former Olympic wrestler. One punch knockout power in his hands. He's handsome. You give that guy the mic. He's like Conor McGregor in his prime. So yeah, this is Hamdy. He's in his part of the world here. And yeah, I think maybe he probably gets the job done here. Brady's mad because he had to take steroids after Hamdy absolutely ran through Jamal Pogues last time out via split decision. It's going to be a bad one, Brady. It's going to be a bad one. What worries me on the Hamdy side for this one is that Tom Peterson really didn't have a lot of wrestling success against Hamdy or against his opponent Muhammad Usman. So I don't know how much I don't know how much he's going to be able to do in terms of actually being able to win minutes in the wrestling against Muhammad here, because I think Muhammad might be able to get back up if he does get taken down. And the more Hamdy wrestles, the more he's going to get tired. And Muhammad Usman is kind of known for having a pretty decent gas tank. His nickname's the Motor. He can wrestle a little bit. And he might be the better minute winner here. But Hamdy's going to be the one who's going to be like actually looking to hurt Muhammad. So, I think he should probably be a slight favorite, especially after, I still haven't watched Abdelwahab Pogues. You have to really kind of every 15 minutes of your life, it means something. And when you watch that fight, that's 15 minutes of your life that you're never going to get back. So I'm not looking forward to watching it. And I remember the Mays fight. Oh my God. Like Don'Tale Mays was getting back up after Hamdy took him down. So Hamdy, I just don't think Hamdy's wrestling is going to be great in this fight. And if that's the case, then the value is probably on the Usman side here. But Hamdy probably wins a close decision because, that Pogues fight was like in Abu Dhabi or Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so that's probably why Hamdy got the decision there. And here we are in Baku, Azerbaijan, not far from Egypt at all. It's kind of close, while Muhammad's, an American basically. So yeah, I think it's probably Abdelwahab by decision.
Yep. It's not too often we see a heavyweight fight where the over is minus 190, but it's hard to imagine it going any other way like it. I don't understand, or I can't imagine it or picture what a finish would look like between these two.
Yeah. It would be pretty wild.
Be wild. Well, didn't Usman knocked out Zach Palga. Palga's just has no durability. Yeah, yep. Fight probably goes to decision at a very high clip. I will not be touching this one.
No. No, God, no.
No. Over the pants. Hamdy sponsored by Manscaped. Yeah, there you go. Hamdy is so crap. It's so bad. So bad. Dazzling the Usman plus 150. That's the value side. Let's see what the crooked, corrupt judges say, because this is going to decision, and it will go into the hands of the crooked, corrupt judges. Horrible fight. They're going to play patty cake for 15 minutes. Yeah, I think they will. Glenn Bott's on Usman as well. Yeah, this fight should have been on the Atlanta card last night. Another terrible fight. She's got the broccoli hair. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the broccoli hair, but it's a big style nowadays. You see a lot of these like my brothers, I think like 18, 19 years old. All of his friends, they love that broccoli hair for some reason.
No kidding.
Yeah. And Irina likes it as well. I got Usman at plus 180. They can't rig Ham's face scorecards forever, can they? They don't underestimate the judges.
They can.
What's up, Brady and Weezy? Am I the only one that fell asleep during the main card? Were you able to stay up through that one?
Actually, after Shabazian's fight, I was like, all right, I'm fucking done. I'm like, honey, let's go find something on the Netflix to watch, because I didn't have any bets on either of the last two fights. And, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. This card is ass. And I was just getting a little bit frustrated because it started off great for me.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to have a really big week, but it fell apart like a Chinese motorcycle, and it was after the Chiesa fight for me, because that was a great over bet for me. I had the over there. I loved that they did nothing for 3 rounds, but yeah, after that it was just bad.
Yeah, it was just bad. Haven't we seen that? It feels like it. I feel like we've seen a bunch of matchups that are just like this.
Yeah.
What's up, Cole? Good to see you. Iron Turtle Fight Week. Let's go. All right, let's keep moving on to the next fight. It is going to be a much more exciting one. It is Daria Zheleznyakova going against Melissa No Mess Mullins. We got Zheleznyakova, 29 years old, 5'9", with a 68-inch reach. Melissa No Mess Mullins, 33 years old, 5'7", with a 68-inch reach. We got Zheleznyakova, 4 years younger, 2-inch height advantage, and you got the same reach there between the two. Zheleznyakova, 3-2 in her last 5 fights. She actually lost to Melissa No Mess Mullins a couple fights ago. We'll talk more about that fight. Routed off 2 wins in a row, including a decision win against Montserrat Rendon in her debut, and then lost by submission to Eileen Perez. As far as Melissa No Mess Mullins, she fought Daria Zheleznyakova, won that fight by knockout, got into the UFC, beat Irina Alekseeva by decision, lost to Nora Cornhole by knockout, and then beat Klaudia Sygula, who we just talked about, by knockout. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of Melissa No Mess Mullins. Like, she is very hittable on the feet, but she's tough. She has that dog in her. And if she can get on top of you, she is very dangerous. She's very aggressive. She's nonstop. She's with the grounded pound. She's looking for the finish at all times. Big fan of No Mess Mullins. But I don't get the nickname No Mess because you watch her fights, man. I mean, she leaves a mess in every single one of her fights. I mean, Melissa Mullins is leaving a mess in all these. I mean, there was a bloody mess in the Sygula fight. A bloody mess in the Sygula fight. She was pounding away with elbows and nasty. There was a big mess. There was also a big mess in the first fight between these two. Go back and watch that fight. There was a big giant mess. So I don't get this nickname because Melissa Mullins almost certainly leaves a mess in the majority of her fights. So I don't get that. But it is a pretty cool nickname. And this is a striker versus grappler matchup. If you go back and watch their first fight, Zheleznyakova was beating the brakes off of Mullins. She was punching her in the face. I mean, Mullins looked like Chris Moutinho out there, and Zheleznyakova was destroying her. And then Mullins gets a takedown with like a minute left, gets on top, and pounds away. Kind of an early stoppage. Maybe that's a reason they're running it back here. But yeah, Mullins got on top, got into a dominant position, and finished the fight via TKO. So Zheleznyakova is going to need to be able to keep this fight on the feet to have a chance here. But if she gets taken down, I also think that just like Sygula, Zheleznykova's ground game is very, very poor. Very poor. I mean, if you're getting submitted by Eileen, does Eileen Perez even know what a submission is?
Dude, I bet her last KO prop and she got the submission. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like her submission grappling is awful.
I know. So, and yeah, I mean, like Charles Oliveira out there against.
Yeah, dude. If you're getting submitted by Eileen Perez, your ground game is absolute hot ass.
It's bad, man. So yeah, I mean, on the feet, Zheleznyakova has a pretty big advantage. I mean, Melissa Mullins is very hittable. But if this fight hits the mat and Mullins gets on top, I guarantee you that there will indeed be a mess come Saturday night. So very interesting striker versus grappler matchup here, Weezy.
Yeah, and I mean, like we did this one before, and Brady broke it down perfectly. Unlike the Hamdy fight, which he got completely wrong. But yeah, I mean, like Mullins is great on the ground and she's trash on the feet. Zheleznyakova is trash on the ground and she's pretty good on the feet. So yeah, I mean, I was looking at the unders. You don't like laying juice on unders in women's fights, but yeah, the under 2.5 years -110. And you know, Melissa's distance striking defense is terrible. It's really bad. What is it listed there at? 53%. I can't.
Oh, that's
see
better
it.
than Moutinho's.
Well, yeah, the 28% of Moutinho, but yeah, I mean, like Daria Zheleznyakova at distance has 80% distance striking defense over 11 minutes. That's pretty good, man. You know, that's a good number. So yeah, I mean, I think Zheleznyakova wins the minutes on the feet, but she doesn't have good takedown defense. She's a noodle. You know, so Melissa's going to get her down. And she just, you know, the thing is like, if this were like a heavyweight fight, I'd probably be like, yeah, Zheleznyakova is going to knock her out because heavyweights have power, but you don't see a lot of power in this division. So Melissa's going to walk through, get the body lock. And once she gets on top, dude, I mean, like when I saw Zheleznyakova get subbed by Perez, I was like, man, this girl's never going to win a minute or a moment on the ground in the UFC ever. So it's probably Mullins, but you got to really remember it's women's MMA, so there's a little bit more variance. And B, I mean, she's going to get her face busted open on the feet here. So
she was looking awful in their first fight for the first 4 minutes. Like she was getting destroyed.
Yeah. And so like, and we've seen Zheleznyakova finished in her only loss, or I'm sorry, in both of her losses, we've seen Mullins finished in her only loss. So yeah, maybe an under here, just because, you know, we've seen both of these ladies finished, and while the fight is on the feet, Zheleznyakova is going to have a huge advantage, and while it's on the mat, Mullins is going to have a huge advantage.
Yeah, it's hard to lay chalk on WMA unders unless it's Liang Na. Like we typically don't lay minus numbers on any female unders, but here we are, and it makes sense, right? I mean, you could easily see Zheleznyakova knocking out Mullins, and on the flip side, you could see Mullins getting on top and pounding away, or even finding a sub like Eileen did. I mean, if Eileen's subbing you, Mullins probably can as well. Yeah. Mullins, I don't think has a sub yet, though, right?
No, actually, you're right. 4 knockouts, no submissions, but she's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu player. She's a pretty good.
She is.
Yeah, I think she's at least a brown belt, so she can get them, but she's got good ground and pound. That's what she got over with the first time.
Yeah, she's a black belt in ground and pound.
Yeah.
So, yep, we have Melissa No Mess Mullins -275, Zheleznyakova +235. I got to go Mullins here just because I think she has an astronomical advantage on the ground, but at the same time, I feel like laying -275 is a little bit irresponsible because that could go pretty poorly if she's not able to get the takedowns. But yeah, I think she should get on top here and leave a mess. Leave a big mess.
Yep.
All right. We got K Deep. Good to see you, K Deep. Yeah. Late, but hey, you're not late. You're right on time. You're right on time. Mullins already beat her in round 1. Yep, she did. I bet Eileen Perez can shoot ping pong balls. Okay.
Hey, boy.
Mullins is going to manhandle Daria. Please just believe me, under 2.5. I believe it. Yeah. You don't got to. You gotta tell me twice. Eileen Perez is a future champion.
She's a good wrestler. You know, I mean, like she's got a good functional MMA game, you know, so she could go pretty far. Like that division's a absolute train wreck. I mean, she's not beating Kayla Harrison, but she could get to the top 5 just by being able to wrestle.
Yeah, she could. Definitely not going to be champion unless we see Harrison retire, though.
Yeah.
Maybe an under 20 significant strikes is the play. All depends. Like sometimes they count ground and pound as significant strikes. Like they're inconsistent with it. And Mullins is going to have like a ton of some big ground strikes. Weezy, who's your favorite WWE, WWF wrestler of all time?
Oh man. I mean, I used to watch when I was a kid. I mean, like back in the 80s. And like I always make jokes about Cowboy Bob Orton, you know, but I loved the Von Erichs. I liked oh, dude, I mean, like, obviously the Macho Man, Randy Savage, there were some great ones. The Superfly, Jimmy Snuka, the fighting pride of the proud nation of Tonga. yeah, I had some fun watching that shit when I was really young, but I after I was like 13 or so, I don't think I ever watched another wrestling match.
Yeah, I used to watch when I was younger too. I used to love wrestling.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the next fight. This is a fun one. We got my titty back Oral Boy. He is taking on newcomer Taufik Musayev. We got Musayev, who is 35 years old, 5'10" with a 72-inch reach. My titty back Oral Boy. He is 27 years old, 5'10" with a 74.5-inch reach. We got my titty back, 8 years younger, same height, 2.5-inch reach advantage. Taufik Musayev is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He's going to be making his debut. One of the instances where he's not coming in there on Contender Series, not going in the Tough House, not going into Road to UFC. They're just bringing him in. And when you watch this guy fight, you can kind of see why they're doing so. As far as my titty back Oral Boy, he is 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He made his debut against Uros Medic, won that fight by submission, beat Elvis Brenner by decision, and then lost to Mateusz Rebecki by decision. And one of the better fights of the year, that fight was absolutely incredible. So we have a guy in my titty back Oral Boy who's currently sitting minus 155. Musayev is currently plus 135. And yeah, this is a fight where I kind of view it as a striker versus grappler matchup. Not to say that my titty back can't strike, he can, but I don't think he's going to want to strike with Musayev here. Musayev has legit striking, a ton of power. This guy goes out there and just kills people. Really liked what I saw with the striking. He has been subbed a couple times, have seen him taken down, and that's probably going to be the route for my titty back here. I think my titty back's going to need to get the wrestling going, get the fight down to the ground. And my suspicion here is if my titty back is able to get on top, I think he's going to have a pretty big advantage. But the question is, will he be able to do so? Because if not, Musayev just seems like an absolute nightmare to deal with on the feet. So yeah, really looking forward to this one. Probably one of my favorite fights on the card, to be honest. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight here?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time late last night watching the tape on Musayev because I hadn't seen him before. And yeah, really fun stuff, dude. I mean, the guy's got great power. He switches stances a lot, but he almost exclusively throws strikes from the orthodox stance. When he goes southpaw, he usually just stays there for a second and switches back. But he'll throw some kicks out of that southpaw stance. But it's that right hand that you really got to watch out for. The guy's got serious power. He's 18-1, Brady, to the knockout. 18-1. This guy's got 22 wins and 18 of them are by knockout. So, yeah, I mean, I think Oral Boy is going to be wrestling here. He should be. But also, you know, I think we got to say, you know, this guy can strike. Oral Boy can strike. He's got good striking. It's just that, you know, obviously the wrestling and his ground game are really the best parts of what he does. So this is going to be a good test for him because Musayev, while being eight years older than Oral Boy, he's got a lot more experience and against a much better brand of competition because Oral Boy, we've just seen him up at this level so far. 3 fights against solid guys, though, in Medic, Brenner, Rumbeski. Those are 3 tough fights in a row. So it's Musayev, though, who's been in there against a bunch of recognizable names over his career. He fought Patricky Pitbull. He fought Sydney Outlaw. The Shabili fight, he got knocked out. And then he was fighting in Ryzen a lot, you know, so he was getting a lot of good fights there against some recognizable opponents. So, but I think that this is, you know, Musayev is from Azerbaijan, though. So that's why he was signed, you know, get him popular, probably one of the most popular fighters in the entire country next to, I mean, I don't know if even Fiziev is really Azerbaijani or not, because I remember clearly when he came into the UFC, he was carrying the Kyrgyzstan flag. So I'm not exactly sure where Fiziev is actually from, because I know he trains in Thailand too. So I don't know how much time he spends in Azerbaijan, but he's claiming Azerbaijan is his country now. Musayev is a guy who's actually from there and is probably one of the best fighters in the history of the country in terms of MMA. So it's going to be interesting to see. The crowd is going to be going nuts for this dude. And he's getting another Central Asian prospect here in Oral Boy, who I think can keep it somewhat close on the feet. But I think that it's Miktabek's wrestling that's going to make the difference in this fight. So I do like him. I think he should get this job done, man. I think he's going to need to wrestle well.
Yep. He's gonna need to wrestle for sure. Let's see where this total's at. So the over under set at 1.5. The over 1.5 is minus 235. The under 1.5 is plus 195. The over 1.5 is minus 235. And I think the reason money's coming in on this over 1.5 is because Oral Boy just showed a ton of toughness.
Yeah.
I mean, he took an absolute pounding in that fight. I mean, he looked like Anal Boy after the pounding. That was just an anal pounding right there against Mateusz Rebecki. Was shocked the fight. I mean, they could have stopped the fight potentially at some point. I mean, that was a brutal, just took a ton of damage there. So he is very tough. But Moussaiev hits very hard. I think he hits a lot harder than Rebecki as well. So I could see a Moussaiev knockout, and I could see an Oral Boy submission potentially if he's able to get on top and find a sub. So I think the under 2.5 I'd like a little bit more, but not sure I love a 1.5, especially after Brundage and Malik played patty cake for 10 minutes. It's going to haunt me for a while.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. It's hard to get these unders, and like you said, Oral Boy last time showed that there's no quitting this dude. But that was a life-changing beating.
Yeah.
The first big shot Moussaiev lands might actually put him out just because of what he went through in that last fight. That's a life-changing beating. So that, how long is it? It's almost 8 months of a layoff. So very good that he took that much time off, because that was one of the best fights of the year, and it was because of the heart that Oral Boy showed. And he almost came back and got a finish in the second half of the third round there, after he should have been already on a stretcher for what Mateusz was doing to him in the first couple rounds and in the first half of the third round. Man, that was such a great fight. So I'm happy to see Miktabek back in the cage here, and I think that this is going to be an absolute banger.
Yep. Potential fight of the night here.
Yes.
What's up, Pepe? I agree with Pepe here. Daria has a huge gaping hole in her game, and I think we might see Melissa Mullins penetrate that gaping hole come Saturday.
Fill that hole.
Yep. Fill it violently filling there.
Somebody's getting filled in that fight, Brady. Filled up, because there are gaping holes after gaping holes.
Yeah.
The gaping hole in Melissa Mullins' striking, the gaping hole in the ground game of Daria Zheleznyakova. There's just gaping holes all over that place. So it's crazy.
Yeah. As someone, and I'm sure you can attest to this, who loves researching the fights, and you watch these fighters and you point out those gaping holes. Nothing's more satisfying than a fighter that goes out there and exploits those gaping holes, and comes out there with a great game plan and penetrates those holes, right? And I think Melissa's going to have to come out there and penetrate those holes to get the win. We got Buster Cherry, Moussaiev. For me, the dude looks legit. I mean, he looks legit, but it's a tough matchup for him. Orobai versus Rebecki was some eye emoji. That was crazy. It was crazy. Orobai's a dog. Agreed. Is this fight still on? It's not currently on DK. I hope so. I hope all these fights are on still.
Yeah.
Under 1.5 at plus 195. I don't hate it. Oh, God.
Yikes.
Oh, my God.
Nope.
Okay. Let's, all right. Let's move on to the next fight. It is going to be Ismael Naurdiev going against Junyong Park. We got Naurdiev, 28 years old, 5'8", 74-inch reach. Park, 34 years old, 5'10", with a 73-inch reach. Naurdiev, 6 years younger, same height, 1-inch reach advantage. Naurdiev is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Got cut from the UFC, but came back and beat Bruno Silva by decision. As far as Junyong Park, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. A submission win against Joseph Holmes. A submission win against Dennis Tuoluen, a submission win against Albert Duraev, a decision loss to Andre Muniz, and then a decision win against Brad Tavares. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight here?
Yeah, I think it's a good one. I'm just putting in some stuff here on my sheet so I can bring up some numbers. And it is steady. And I'm bringing up a file. You got to me a little quick there, dude. All right, and let's bring up these fight stats, because I wanted to talk a little bit about some betting line information here. So we've got Naurdiev coming off the Bruno Silva win, where he was a minus 155 favorite and looked about minus 500 because of how washed Silva was. But prior to that, Ismael Naurdiev, before he got invited to the UFC, had lost 2 out of his last 4 fights. He covered a minus 550 money line against Tagir Hamdy, but then he lost 2 fights in a row before that. He got knocked out by Vadim Kutsi as a minus 230 favorite, a guy who gassed out after 1 round on the Contender Series fight that he had. And then he lost by submission to Marcin Bandel as a minus 400 favorite. So it was weird that Naurdiev had gotten a UFC contract after losing 2 out of his last 3 fights. And the only win that he had was over a guy that he was like basically 85% implied to beat. So seeing him come in and beat Bruno Silva, it was like, okay, maybe Naurdiev's back, because this guy's still pretty young, Brady. He's still in terms of 28 years old compared to Junyong Park, who's 34. So he's like 5.5 years younger than this dude. And we see Naurdiev making a good performance his last time out. But, Park has been priced as a favorite in his last 5 UFC fights. Covered a minus 224 line against Tavares. He lost a split decision to Andre Muniz, where Muniz shot like 37 takedowns in that fight and was able to just kind of hold on for dear life and win a split decision there. He beat the brakes off of Albert Duraev and then did an amazing dance after he finished him. Shaved the ass of Dennis Tialulin. Shaved the ass of poor Joseph Holmes.
Oh God!
He's been hot lately. And when you look at the betting line information, we got positive ROIs on Naurdiev and Junyong Park. These guys are both outperforming expectations of them. Naurdiev's 3-2 in the UFC.
Yeah, I don't know why they cut him. I actually think Naurdiev's pretty decent,
and he's still young. So there's still some room for improvement there. But yeah, we got Naurdiev. It's 2-1 as a favorite with 3% ROI. He's 1-1 as an underdog with 102% ROI. And Junyong Park, over 11 UFC fights, 8-3 with a 43% ROI. And he's covering when he's a favorite, he's 6-2 with a 12% ROI and a minus 194 average betting line. And as an underdog, with a plus 121 average betting line, he's 2-1 with a 51% ROI. Junyong Park is pretty good everywhere. He can wrestle a little bit and win some minutes on the ground. He's winning 62% of the control time positions in his fights. On the feet, he stays very busy. He's landing 8 significant strikes per minute at distance and absorbing 6.3. He's got good power, very good durability, but he's a good minute winner everywhere the fight goes. And if you've got holes in your game, Junyong Park, the Iron Turtle, is gonna fill those holes. So if you can, he's finished 3 of his wins by submission, but he can also win those minutes on the feet as well. So yeah, he's a very good fighter. So Naurdiev is a guy who wins minutes at this level as well. He's 3-2 to the decision, but Junyong Park's 5-1 to the decision. So I'm interested to see which one of these guys winds up being the better wrestler, because on the feet, I think that they're both pretty good. They're similar in terms of size, but Junyong Park throws a lot more volume and he does great work in the pocket there. The question is, can Naurdiev use those kicks to kind of keep Park on the outside and manage range? And if he could do that, I think he can keep this fight pretty close. But with Junyong Park, I think that he's just got he's been a little bit hotter as of late. We know that he's definitely the more UFC level fighter right now because of the record. I mean, he's 8-3 over 11 UFC fights, so he's done an amazing job. I think that this is going to probably be a battle of minute winning. I see this one going to decision at a pretty high clip, but I got to trust the minute winning abilities of Junyong Park wherever this fight goes. A little more volume on the feet, a little bit more likelihood to wrestle offensively, I would say, as he's shown a lot of that in his recent fights, and excellent conditioning and durability.
Yeah, Park actually opened at minus 350. He's currently minus 190 now. Naurdiev opened at plus 285. He's currently plus 166. The over-under stood at 2.5, and I agree. I like the over too. Over 2.5 minus 170. Under 2.5 is plus 140. And Naurdiev actually does get finished quite a bit. I think his durability is pretty iffy, but Park's not really knocking anybody out. And you look at the guys he's subbed, just absolute bomb. I mean, Joseph Holmes, Dennis Tuoluen, and even Albert Duraev, just not great. So I think this fight goes to decision. And yeah, could be competitive. Could be competitive. Probably goes into the hands of the crooked, corrupt judges. So we'll see what they think. But yeah, I like the over at minus 170. I think it's a solid look there.
Yeah, I think that's a good play.
Yep, I don't mind it. Got the Turtle Club. There you go. Yeah. Turtle Club. Brady, I've always wondered what you're doing when your screen goes dark. Could be for multiple reasons. Sergey Spivak showed up one night. Colton G could be another reason. There's a bunch of different reasons why I have to leave real quick. And yeah, see, goons of Colton G. That's him and his goons there. He stopped at Sheets to get gas and got fries, but he has to eat them. The fries when they're hot and get gross. Yep.
Yeah.
And then we come in on that ass after. Oh God. Oh my God.
That's awful.
That is awful. Hopefully my doors are locked. I got a new security system. I got a nice new security system, state of the art security system for because Colton G, man, got to protect yourself around that guy. That guy's off the rails. Brad Tavares couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Hasn't Park been laid off forever?
Oh, just about 7 months.
I'm high A, it happens. Colton G -3. Well, he has his goons, so it makes. I mean, it's not. I'm not just taking on Colton G. I'm taking on Colton G and his buddy system. Couple buddies, probably four buddies. So yeah, maybe he is -390. Where's the hood wolf when you need him?
Yeah,
probably in prison. Heard he just got arrested again.
Oh no.
Just kidding. I mean, maybe, I don't know. There's probably what you're a math guy. What's the probability that Sadikas Dumas just got arrested today?
Oh God. It's probably like better than zero, you know. I mean, it's probably at least 1 or 2% any day of the year, I would think. Because he gets it, you know, if you think it's 1% a year, right? There's 365 days in a year, and he probably gets arrested about 3.65 times per year.
That's yeah.
You know, I mean, so probably about 1% every single day. Probably doubles if he leaves the house.
Triples, right? It's bad, man. Oh, by the way, they did an interview with Cedricus after he got out of prison, and he admitted to hiding in the dog crate.
Oh, damn it! I thought that was bullshit.
No, he's like, yeah, man, they're not gonna get me. He was high as hell, smoking a joint. They weren't gonna get me. Call him the hood wolf because in that dog crate. I mean, I couldn't believe when I heard that, but it was glad he's out. He's doing well, and I did see him. He was donating his time at the homeless shelter today, so he's going out there and making the best of it.
Shout out for the guys doing the hard work like ST. There's not enough philanthropists in this world.
Agree. We need guys in this world like ST Dumas and Shara Magomedov. That guy's a great guy.
Yeah.
We need guys like that. John Jones, class act. We need more class acts. Conor McGregor, class act.
Yes.
We need more guys like that in the world.
Future president of Ireland, man.
Yeah.
I'm moving there after he becomes president. That's the first thing. I'm moving to Ireland.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you whatsoever. All right. What we're going to do is move on to the next fight. Before we do so, 460 of you guys watch. If you guys have not already, be sure to pipe up that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Me and Weezy go live every Sunday, 10:15 Eastern time. Do get a shout out to our sponsor again. It is our guy, Avery. Go check out Avery on X, MMA_. Very appreciate you, Avery, for sponsoring the show. Does mean a ton. And appreciate you guys hanging out in the chat tonight. And I turn on subscriber only mode, Weezy. It's a thing where people have to subscribe and be subscribed for at least 5 minutes to comment, and it cleaned the chat up pretty good. Look at that.
There we go. All right, yeah, because like a bunch of people were coming in. We're getting like absolutely like with the goat milk percentage thing, you know.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of goat milk, so couldn't let that slide. So yeah, turn on the subscriber only mode. So everybody in the chat is subscribers. Appreciate you guys.
Nice.
That dude is in prison. Cedricus, many times.
I was shocked too. I didn't realize it. You know, I'm like, really? The Hood Wolf? He was in, I don't think so. But then I went and I researched it, and evidently he's been arrested a couple of times.
A couple. All right, let's move on to the next fight. It is going to be Tagir Ulanbekov going against Azat Maksum. We got Ulanbekov, 33 years old, 5'7" with a 70-inch reach. Maksum, 30 years old, 5'8" with a 70-inch reach. We have Maksum, who's 3 years younger, 1 inch height advantage, same reach there between the two. Ulanbekov 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Decision win against Alan Nascimento. Decision loss against Tim Elliott. We had a submission win against Nate Maness, a submission win against Cody Durden, and then a decision win against Clayton Carpenter. As far as Maksum, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Decision win against Tyson Nam, and a decision loss to Charles Johnson. So, yeah, I mean, it's been a while since we've seen this dude Maksum in the cage. 1 year and 4 months, and he's taken this fight on somewhat short notice. And Maksum made his debut against Tyson Nam. This guy had a lot of hype coming in. He was, I think, 14-0. So a lot of hype on the guy. People were excited about him. And they went out there against Tyson Nam, like arguably lost to Tyson Nam. Like that fight was very close. A lot of people thought that Nam won. And I don't blame them because that was a very close competitive fight where not a ton happened, to be honest. And then he went out there against Charles Johnson as a pretty decent-sized favorite and just pretty much crapped the bed. It looked good early, had Charles Johnson hurt, and then kind of just gassed out. Last 10 minutes, looked very tired, was kind of shaking his arms out the entire fight. Almost got subbed by Charles Johnson on multiple occasions. Just not a really good look to me. So, yeah, thus far in the UFC, with Maksum in these first 2 fights, it just hasn't looked that great. And now he's taking a step up, and a pretty big step up in competition, in my opinion, for Tagir. Like, Tagir is really good. He's massive for the division. He's a very underrated striker, long-rangey striker, good volume, but it's that submission game. It's those long arms, those front chokes, the grappling, the wrestling, the cardio. I mean, Tagir Ulanbekov is a very good fighter in the flyweight division. I think he's a lot better than Charles Johnson. I think he's like 5 times better than Tyson Nam. I like Tagir here. I like him quite a bit in this one. Tagir is a big favorite. The theme of these last couple of cards, like just big favorites, man. Like what's up with these big favorites? Last week we had 3 favorites that were minus 900 and greater. Where do they have Ulanbekov? Ulanbekov minus 360 here. He opened up minus 210. Money seems to be coming in on him, and I would tend to agree. I think Maksum, I just struggle to see a path. Like, is he going to knock out Tagir? I don't know about that. Is he submitting Tagir? No. And is he winning a decision against Tagir? I don't really think so. So, yeah, I think it's Tagir here. I could see a decision, potentially even a submission. So I like Tagir minus 360. It is a steep price to pay, though, but that's what we've been dealing with these last couple of weeks. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, I mean, Ulanbekov is such a good fighter, obviously. The guy's, 5-1 in the UFC. He's looked really good. Even the Elliott fight was a very close fight that probably could have went either way. And Elliott cheated his ass off in that fight. I mean, shout out Tim Elliott, though. I mean, that's, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And if you're not going to get penalized for it, you might as well do it. So we've still got a little bit to learn about Maksum, don't we? I mean, like he almost beat Charles Johnson. He had Charles in serious trouble in round 1. He knocked him down. He had him in a deep Darce choke for a couple of minutes, but Charles Johnson is nearly impossible to finish. I don't think the guy's ever been finished as a professional. So, Maksum, that was a fight where he lost those last 2 rounds. And, I think Tagir, we got to remember, this dude's pushing 34 years old. He's got a really nasty weight cut in order to get down to 126 pounds. I remember having a big bet on him because I've been trying to fade Josh Van against grapplers. And I remember I made Ulanbekov the ass shaving of the week against Van. And Ulanbekov completely botched the weight cut and the fight got called off. But I remember seeing Ulanbekov on the scale, and I was like, yup, I'm cooked. I'm cooked. There's no way that this guy is beating Josh Van. So I worry a little bit about Ulanbekov right now, actually. The guy doesn't have lockdown power, so he's not going to just beat the shit out of you on the feet. So now you do have to count on him to be able to wrestle successfully and win minutes there. And if he's unable to do that, it's going to be greasy because his striking is just okay. And his grappling is very good, but the conditioning, Brady, I don't think the conditioning's great. This guy's got too big of a weight cut, and he doesn't fight very often. So I mean, I think there's a few things here. The activity from Ulanbekov, I don't like it. The weight cut, I don't like it. I don't like the fact that this guy's pushing 34 years of age, and I don't like the fact that he lost to Tim Elliott.
Oh, well, Tim Elliott did cheat in that fight, but yeah.
He cheated a lot, but this is supposed to be like, a guy from Team Nurmagomedov. This guy has had Khabib in his corner several times. I mean, come on. He should have beaten Tim Elliott. He should have been able to out-wrestle that dude. So I feel like this is going to be a stay away because I don't want to back Maksum because I'm not sure where he's better than Tagir. But I'm not sure where Tagir is minus 300 against this guy either.
I mean, if he subs him. I mean, Charles Johnson got in deep on a bunch of subs.
Yeah, but would Ulanbekov have still been there if Azat Maksum did to him the same shit that he did to Charles Johnson, who's a much better striker and much faster than Tagir Ulanbekov? That's my point. It's like, what if Tagir winds up in that fucking Darce choke?
He'll get out of it.
Okay. All right.
I mean, he got a bunch of chokes from Nascimento.
Yeah, that's a good point. But Nascimento loves to stay on his back, man, and like, and Nascimento didn't hurt him on the feet first.
Yeah.
So that's, like, I'm just saying, when we're looking to lay juice, 34-year-old flyweights with bad weight cuts and spotty activity, that worries me a little bit here. So, I'm interested to see how this one plays out because I don't think we've seen Maksum's best yet, and I'm still worried about where Tagir is right now at this point in his career.
Yep, we definitely got to see Tagir on the scale, right? Like he looked fine in the for the Carpenter fight. I think he won every round of the Carpenter fight, 30-27. I think Carpenter would beat Maksum, to be honest. I'm a big fan of
Carpenter's a very good prospect. That was a little too much too soon going from I forget who Carpenter had in the fight before that, but
yeah,
it was like some Brazilian kid, I think, and he kind of ran through him. Rocha? Was it Rocha?
Might have been, but yeah,
he went from Rocha to fucking Ulanbekov, and I'm like, wait a second, that's a big jump for a young fighter in Clayton Carpenter, but Carpenter's got a really bright future.
Carpenter is legit.
Yes.
Legit.
Yes.
So yeah, we have Tagir is minus 360, Maksum plus 295. The over under set at 2.5. The over 2.5 minus 235. The under 2.5 is plus 195. Tagir was the real athlete phenom of Team Abdelwahab. Manap knew he was a special athlete on his hands. I like Tagir here by a lot. Can wrap him up. There's no chance Tagir's only 5'7".
Yeah, the Maksum's listed as 1 inch taller than Tagir, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Tagir's like 5'9". That's why he has such a rough weight cut.
Yeah, that's the heights seem like off there. We'll see on when they face off. Got Dr. Peener. I'm going to say what we're all thinking: Chris Matina versus Justin Gaethje. I don't think I was thinking that. I was thinking more so Matinho versus
Matinho up 2 weight classes. Against the guy who just deads people in Gaethje. Come on,
dude, you got to do him a favor.
This guy killed.
Give him like Shannon Ross. Shannon Ross or something.
Yeah, bring back Shannon Ross for what Matinho did for Atlanta last night by showing up for that fight.
Exactly. Love to your money line as a parlay piece. Carpenter was a nice win. Azat is getting subbed. We got Electric Doll saying, "Oi, just made it in. F these effing heavy juice ons these days."
I know.
Crazy. It's been crazy.
Everybody's minus 500. It's crazy.
Hoodwolf wasn't donating his time to the homeless shelter. He generally needed food and water. Okay,
it
makes sense.
Could be.
Appreciate you, Forrest. Appreciate you, Forrest. Let's see here. Mutin. Oh, come on, Buster. Come on, Buster.
God.
Not trying to dog Shweezy, but you're in downtown Chicago Wednesday at 7:30.
No, I wouldn't have been, because like Wednesday at 9 o'clock Central Time, I do my show. So I would have definitely not been in downtown Chicago on Wednesday night at like 7:30.
Huh.
But I'm a Chicago guy. Yeah. If you're around Avondale, you might find me walking around there.
There you go. There you go. This is America, but I don't think anybody wants to see Moutinho take any more damage. I don't think he can afford to take any more damage.
Not from Derek Lewis, dude.
No. I felt bad for the guy. Heard his interview. Apparently he was like went through some really dark times after that O'Malley fight. And I guess he's doing better now, or he was until maybe last night. Because that was bad. That was very bad.
Knockout, dude.
There we go. Yeah, Moutinho versus Jekka. Why not? There we go.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, don't get piped out there in the streets.
No, man, nobody's coming for me here, dude. I'm an absolute institution in this city. People see me, they honk their horn and they wave,
Yep, there you go. Yeah. You gotta love it. Bunch of disgusting. Alice Arteline's not a disgusting. I wouldn't call her a disgusting freak. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No. All right, let's move on to the next fight. It is Muhammad Naimov going against Bogdan Grad. We got Naimov, 30 years old, 5'9" with a 70-inch reach. Grad, 29 years old, 5'8" with a 70-inch reach. Grad, 1 year younger. Naimov with a 1-inch height advantage. Naimov, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Jamie Malarkey. Decision win against Nathaniel Wood. Knockout win against Eric Silva. Submission loss to Felipe Lima. And then a decision win against Con Offley. As far as Bogdan Grad, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Had a split decision win on the Contender Series, and then got a knockout win against Lucas Alexander in his debut. I thought he fought Michael Aswell in the Contender Series.
Yeah, he did. That, for some reason, I looked at that for like ever because I thought I had the wrong names, and I switched it on my other sheet, but not in this one yet. So
okay, all good.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know how that name got in there, but it screwed me up so bad. That's the only thing that's wrong there.
All good. Yeah, so that Michael Aswell decision win, really close fight. Could win either way, but knocked out Lucas Alexander. That was a pretty good win. This should be a fun fight. I think Bogdan Grad's going to be one of these guys who maybe he's not the most skilled fighter, but he's just going to bring a ton of exciting fights. Like the Aswell fight was probably one of my favorite fights last year on the Contender Series. And then went out there and put on a really fun fight against Lucas Alexander. So I expect this fight to be no different. Should be a fun one here, Weezy.
Yeah, for sure. And Naimov puts on really fun fights too. That guy will go out there and really swing with you. And he can mix in the wrestling, and he pushes a pretty good pace, So I think that this is going to be a really fun fight. When you got a live crowd, the guy like Bogdan Grad probably isn't going to be fighting at the Apex very often. This guy, he goes out there and he goes for it, man. I mean, like, I got a lot of respect for Grad because the fact that he even took a fight against Tom Nolan up a weight class against that, it's one thing when you're a featherweight and you take a fight against a lightweight. You don't take a fight against that lightweight in Tom Nolan. That was ridiculous. They looked like they were 3 weight classes apart in that fight. And Grad was going out there. He was talking shit. He's sending pictures of it with him with his shirt off, flexing and DMing it to Tom Nolan. This guy, he got fucking served, but you live and you learn. And he said that he was going to stop doing that shit going forward. And look, he's on a 4-fight win streak, and he's been putting on fun fights. And Naimov's going to do the same. And you know what? Neither one of these guys is what I would call a particularly gifted minute winner. So I think that these guys are just going to absolutely swing, and I think it's going to be a really fun fight. I can't wait for this one, but I have no idea who's going to win this one because I think that they're fairly well matched, but Muhammad obviously has a little bit of a strength of schedule advantage, having a little more fights at this level. And I think that, we've seen him wrestle a little bit more on the regional scene and at the UFC level. I mean, obviously Grad tried a bunch of takedowns in the Lucas Alexander fight, but he's going to potentially be striking a lot more. So yeah, I lean Naimov, but I think that this is going to be like a back and forth fight. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Would you go as far to say they're going to swing dicks here?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Yes, I would.
So at that point, it probably all comes down to who has the bigger dick. And I don't know. But Naimov is, according to the odds makers, Naimov has the bigger dick. I mean, we got Naimov minus 220 here. Bogdan Grad sitting at plus 185. The over-under set at 1.5. The over 1.5 is minus 240. The under 1.5 is plus 190. Again, I wouldn't mind like an under, but more so like a 2.5. Because I do think these guys are going to hit each other in the face a lot. Bogdan Grad is he's a tough dude, but he's very hittable, and Naimov does have a ton of power, and Grad has power as well. So I don't mind potential finish here, but would definitely prefer a 2.5. I'm not sure why they even have that at 1.5. No wonder it got smashed to the over.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm looking at their fights outside the UFC, and Naimov, 6 of his 9 fights finished inside the distance, and for Grad, it was 12 of 16. Yeah. But you look at the under 1.5 numbers, they're almost the same. Out of those 18 fights that finished inside the distance, 16 of them finished under 1.5 rounds. So when these guys finish fights, they're finishing them pretty early. Now, Naimov has had 2 fights at the UFC level that finished after 1.5 rounds. So it, not as many early finishes at this level than on the regional scene. But yeah, this one's going to be fun, dude. I mean, these guys are going to put on a show.
Yep. Agreed. Weezy does it's either in life, you either do the piping or you're getting piped, and you want to be the guy that's doing the piping. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I mean, there was a saying when I was a kid, and I remember it well, and it was nice guys finish last. You don't want to be nice to everybody all the time. People take advantage of you. Sometimes you got to be the one doing the piping.
Yeah.
And when you do that, sometimes that's how you get respect, Brady.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So how did Sean not finish Matinho in the first 2 rounds? I'll tell you why. Well, he was going out there and he was dribbling a basketball during the fight. He was shooting fake fadeaway shots. Did we see Malcolm Wellmaker dribbling a basketball, Weezy?
No.
We saw him knock
him that.
O'Malley was just messing around in there for the entire fight. So that's why he didn't finish him. You can't finish somebody while dribbling a fake basketball. Perfect time for a grad party. Yeah. Around June, some grad parties. Naimov's slightly better.
I agree.
Naimov has good fight IQ, and he's also a big cheater. I mean, this guy Naimov is a cheating machine. I mean, the Nathaniel Wood fight, cheated at least 10 different times in that fight. So yeah, and you don't get penalized, do you, Weezy, for cheating, right? You can kick people illegally. You can grab the fence. You can miss weight. You don't get penalized for cheating, right? I don't think they do that anymore.
I had a bet on Naimov in the Wood fight when he cheated in every single round.
Yes.
And my bet cashed, and they didn't take the money back. Like, they weren't like, no, dude, we're not going to give you that money because he cheated in every round with everything that he had. No, so yes, you can cheat. You can win. And as a gambler, if you bet on cheaters, they won't take your money away from you. So it's a good thing.
In the worst case scenario, it's a no contest. You're not going to get DQ'd. That's the worst case. Or they'll just they'll score the first 2 rounds and take it to the scorecards, and they'll read off the decision there. So yeah, you don't really get penalized for any fouls.
No.
And yeah, he does. Yep, absolutely does. The words of wisdom from Tio Weezy. Agreed. Pipe fitting like Wellmaker. Yeah. Laid a piping last night. That's for sure. I mean, that was brutal.
Yeah,
that was brutal. Below sea level rules in effect. Yeah. Yep. Remember Wiseman what to say if you're not cheating or not trying. Yeah. I mean, we see a ton of cheaters in the UFC.
Yeah.
One is nicknamed Hillman. The other one is nicknamed The Unleashed. They're going to swing dicks. Agreed. I think they're going to swing dicks, and I think it's going to come down to who has the bigger dick, and that's for you guys to decide.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next fight. Speaking of swinging dicks, oh my gosh, this fight is going to be incredible. Nazim Sadykhov going against Nicholas Motta. We got Sadykhov, 31 years old, 5'10" with a 69-inch reach. Motta, 32 years old, 5'9" with a 70-inch reach. We got Sadykhov 1 year younger, 1-inch height advantage, 1-inch reach disadvantage. Sadykhov 4-0-1, draw in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against poor Ahmed Hazanzada on the Contender Series. One of the worst beatdowns I think I've ever seen on the Contender Series, to be honest. Knocked him out in round 3. Knockout win against Evan Elder. Submission win against Terrence McKinney. Got the draw against Slava. and then a knockout win against Ismael Bonfim made him quit in there. As far as Motta, he is 3-1 and 1 no contest in his last 5 fights. He had a knockout win against Cameron Van Camp, knockout loss against Manuel Torres, got completely dominated by Trey Ogden. Ogden is on his way to submitting Motta, and then the ref calls it prematurely, ends up being a no contest, but he got dog walked in that fight by Trey Ogden. Knocked out Tom Nolan as a big dog, and then took Mahashate to decision. I bet the under, and Nicholas Motta knocked down Mahashate like 5 times. That was great. That happened at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, okay, I'm going to bed. After that, I'm going to bed. I think Sadykhov is absolutely the real deal. Sadykhov's striking is good. I believe he's a black belt. Trains at Longo Wybeit MMA. He can wrestle. And I just think he has a lot of ways to win this fight. Nicholas Motta, what are his weaknesses? Weakness number 1, or should I say hole? What are his holes? No. Hole number 1, the chin. This guy's been knocked out like 5 times brutally by guys like Jim Miller. That Manuel Torres knockout loss was one of the most brutal knockouts I think I've ever seen. Just an elbow from hell, man. The chin of Motta is in serious question. The other gaping hole is going to be the ground game. I mean, Trey Ogden was just dog walking this guy on the ground. I've seen him submitted in the past as well before. I think Sadykhov can potentially knock out Motta here. I think he can mix in the grappling like he did against Terrence McKinney, take this guy down. And I think if Sadykhov gets on top of Motta, like the fight's probably going to be over shortly after. On the feet, both guys have a lot of power, and both guys want to absolutely swing dicks. But I got to go Sadykhov here. I think there's a big difference in durability. I think there's a big difference in grappling. So I like Sadykhov to get the job done, and they are on to it, Wheezy. -400. -400 for Nazim Sadykhov, and the under is completely juiced. It's set at 1.5, and you're barely getting plus money on it. So they're kind of onto it here. But I think Sadykhov gets a finish. Is it a knockout? Is it a sub? Is it early? Is it late? I don't know, but I think he gets the finish, and I think I don't know if I like the under 1.5, but honestly, probably hits, I think. What are your thoughts on this fight, Weezy?
Yeah, so I had a bet on Sadykhov. I want to pile on Sadykhov versus Ismael Bonfim. I had the finish only for Sadykhov for like 2 units at big plus money, and his money line was sitting about plus 170, I think, against Ismael Bonfim. So that was a nice cash for me, but he's going from being plus 170 to -400. And so why was he plus 170 versus Ismael Bonfim? Well, let's start with the fact that this dude is absorbing 9 significant strikes per minute with a 45% distance striking defense.
Jeez.
Yeah. And this is Nick Motta, who hits really fucking hard. You get clipped by that left hook of Nick Motta, it might be nighty-night, keep your butthole tight. And this is Nazim Sadykhov, who's got crazy durability. I think that this is a guy that, you want to be on the finish-only props always for Nazim, because this guy has just got absolute chin, an ironclad chin. I mean, he takes a lot of damage. He takes entirely too much damage. So, yeah, you got to be careful here. Now, obviously, Nazim Sadykhov, Azerbaijani, so the crowd is going to be going nuts for him, especially against a Brazilian, that's not from the area. They don't have any connection to a type like Motta. So Sadykhov is one of the reasons that this card was made, so that they could bring Azerbaijani fighters to Azerbaijan to get that crowd lit up and ready to go and excited. And I mean, who better than Nazim? You got to love the way that this guy fights. He's there to trust his durability, to trust his chin, and to trust his power. And it's working, Brady. He's 3-0-1 in the UFC. He's 10-1-1 as a professional. And he's just cashing tickets left and right, man. Just beat the piss out of Hassan Zada. The Elder fight wasn't the best look, but round 3 starts, he's down 2018. He went after it and got a win because of a cut stoppage. Outlast Terrence McKinney. That was a pretty good win for him. Great fight against Borshov. Borshov was just dominating him in the striking exchanges, and he comes this close to finishing Slava in the second round. And that's the thing, if he does that to Motta's done. You know, that's why I bet him against Bonfim. I'm like, this guy Bonfim's been finished in every loss. If Nazim cracks him once, he's going to quit. And it's exactly what happened, you know, because Nazim's not going to quit in there. And he sure as shit isn't going to quit in Azerbaijan when he's one of the reasons for this card even being made in the first place. So you got to like Sadykhov here, but I would be very, very careful. You're talking about laying minus 400 on a guy with 45% distance striking defense against a guy who's got 10 knockout wins and Nicholas Motta, and who's got really crazy power in his hooks. So this one is going to be an interesting one, Brady. Nick Motta can really box, and Nazim's not the most aggressive offensive grappler out there. So I think that this could play out really close, actually, on the feet, because Sadykhov is extremely hittable.
Yeah, it could play out close until somebody just dies. I mean, somebody's probably dying.
And who's more likely to die?
The guy that's been finished 20 times.
There you go. You got one guy who's been finished 5 times in 5 losses in Nick Motta, and then you got a guy in Sadykhov who's eating 9 significant strikes per minute, but he's never been dropped but he's never been finished by KO as a professional. So, yeah, man, it's going to be tough for Nick Motta to out-tough Nazim Sadykhov in Baku, Azerbaijan. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I might get to like some type of under here. Do you know, is Sadykhov a fan of like steak or yachts or?
I mean, I think most people are, but I think Sadykhov's one of those dudes that he does this to fight. Okay. You know, you could tell those guys like the Trevor Peaks, you know, the guys that just go out there and they don't care if you hit them. They don't care about defense. They're there. They would fight in a cornfield for free, you know. And I think Nazim's one of those dudes that, yeah, he would do that.
Okay, so no gentleman's agreement to not start fighting until round 3. You don't think?
I highly doubt it from Nazim Sadykhov. I mean, maybe he needs money. We all need money, Brady. There was a wrestler in the 80s, since we talked about it earlier, by the name of the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. And what the $1 Million Man used to say was, every man has a price. And it's true. Every man has a price, Brady. I don't know what the price was for Brundage and Abdul Malik to not throw a punch for the first 10 minutes, but there was a price. There was an agreement that was come to, and there was a contract signed, and there were people eating steaks tonight, Brady, while we sit here and we grind it out on YouTube.
Speaking of every man has a price, shout out to Christina. Brady going to UFC 319 in Chicago. Let's hook up. Well, every man has a price. Let me up, Christina. let me know. It's probably some dude though. Oh God. So I don't want to have a sex with a dude. Okay. Haven't heard that in a while. Uncle Weezy always get a giggle 99. It's a great saying. It's a great saying.
It's a good one, man. It's so apt for MMA too.
It really is. Nas is going to deliver the piping that Colton G only wishes he could. Yeah, somebody's going to get piped. Just in brutal. I mean, it's going to be a brutal piping in this one. Both these guys hit very, very hard. Both these guys are aggressive. Both these guys are hittable. Somebody's getting served, I think. I think the line is a little bit inflated, but he should beat Motta at home. Uncle Weezy stays near the top of UFC predictions tracker. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He does. How did you do on picks last night?
I was wound up being 9-3.
Okay. I think I
got C wrong. I got Usman wrong, and I picked Cody Durden over Ochoa, which was in retrospect not great.
Yeah, I had Ochoa, but I picked Lusa, which it was looking good until he got.
It was looking good. That was a great fight, though. That was such a good fight.
Can we get a DFS bumper sticker? Be the piper, not the pipey. I like that. And it's so true.
It's good.
So true. So where is so the total on this one is plus 100 to the under. The under actually opened up at plus 142.
Plus 142. So yeah, money coming in on the under. And my model likes an under 1.5 here. 2 of 4 Sadykhov fights have finished under 1.5 rounds, and 4 of 6 Motta fights have finished. So, it says that there's a little bit of a discount there at an under 1.5 at around plus 110, 105.
Yep, that makes sense. All right, let's keep moving on to the next fight. This is a fight we talked about a couple months ago, it feels like. Curtis Blaydes, Rizvan Kuniev. We got Blaydes, 34 years old, 6'4", 80-inch reach. Kuniev, 32 years old, 6'4", with a 76-inch reach. Kuniev 2 years younger, same height, and Blaydes going to have a 4-inch reach advantage. Blaydes is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Chris Daukaus, knockout win against Tom Aspinall, knockout loss to Sergey Pavlovich, knockout win against Dralton Almeida, and then a knockout loss against Tom Aspinall. As far as Kuniev, he is 4-0-1 no contest in his last 5 fights. He had a knockout win on the Contender Series against Hugo Kuna, and it was supposed to make his debut. Do you remember what happened?
I think this is the 3rd time that they've tried to make this fight.
Oh my gosh.
So Blaydes is just getting screwed, I think, because Big Riz keeps pulling out. I mean, and I don't know if it's just like he's going to be with his bitches or what's happening here, but yeah, this is the 3rd time, Brady. It was supposed to happen on February 22nd. Didn't happen. It was supposed to happen on March 8th. And that was a Blaydes illness, actually. So Blaydes pulled out of the March one. The February one was rescheduled. And then, oh, wow, people are pulling out. They don't want to fight Big Riz because Budai pulled out of a fight against Big Riz in December of 2024.
Okay. Yeah, Big Riz. I like. Is that really his nickname, or is that your nickname for him?
That's my nickname for him, and I'm trying. I've put out a petition that I want everybody to sign. That's got to be the nickname.
I like it. So didn't this guy get popped for all the PEDs?
Yeah, he didn't test positive for just one. Just 2, just 3.
Oh,
no, it was actually 4 different steroids that were in his system. He melted through the cup, and the Renan Ferreira fight was overturned.
Yeah, I remember watching that fight and being like, wow, this Rizvan guy looks really good. And then he pops for every steroid imaginable. Looks like a completely different fighter in the Hugo fight. And you go back, I was going back and watching some fights from Rizvan years ago. I'm talking years ago. He looks like a completely different fighter back then. So you could tell this guy was definitely on something at some point in his career. So yeah, I would think I picked Blaydes to win the fight the first time. My pick's not going to change. It's just hard. I never laid chalk ever again on Curtis Blaydes after the Derek Lewis fight. That was the last straw. He was -3. I laid -300 on him there. I really liked him to maybe he can take down Derek Lewis and dominate him. No, he got knocked out. And that's always the concern with Curtis Blaydes is he can get knocked out in his fights. He's been knocked out 5 or 6 times. So yeah, I think Blaydes wins. I think he's a much better fighter, but him getting knocked out really wouldn't shock me because it just happened a lot.
Yeah, it's so hard to know what's going on with this Big Riz now, because he hasn't fought since August of 2024, so we're almost on a 1-year layoff. And then before that, he hadn't fought in 1.5 years. And, he got suspended for all the steroids. He fought once in 2022. He fought once in 2021, twice in 2020, 3 times in 2019. But this guy made his debut in 2011.
Oh,
yeah. So he's been fighting for 14 years. The guy's listed at 32. So evidently Big Riz made his debut at the age of 18. And yeah, we've got a lot to find out about this guy. He's going from fighting, Ferreira on all those steroids to fighting Hugo Kuna on Dana White's Contender Series. And now he's getting Curtis Blaydes, who's top 5 in the division. And the top 5 of the UFC's heavyweight division. You're going to the top 5 after fighting a bunch of regional scene bums? So I don't know. There's just too much to find out here. But I don't know if Blaydes is going to be able to out wrestle Rizvan, and Blaydes doesn't have good takedown defense actually. So maybe Rizvan can have some success. The guy's pretty good. The guy, they don't give you Curtis Blaydes for your heavyweight debut, unless they really know that this guy's probably going to have a number next to his name at some point here. So We're gonna find out, but I'm interested to see how this one plays out. But like, it's just been so. There's been this fight's probably not going to happen. It seems cursed, you know. So we'll find out. But it's going to be a great opportunity to get information about how Rizvan Kuniev is going to look at this level.
Yep. It will be. Blaydes opened up minus 265, currently minus 285. Kuniev opened up plus 225, currently plus 245. Over under set at 2.5. The over 2.5 is minus 115. The under 2.5 is minus 115. We got Ursel. Hey guys, I'm back. Catching the live late. Has Kerry Hatley been caught? Have they caught Hatley yet?
No. As a matter of fact, I think he was roughing a couple weeks ago.
Oof. Yeah, I remember that. So they haven't caught him. Sadykhov inside the distance, minus 250, probably around. I mean, what is he on the money line?
400 was it?
Minus 400. Yeah, minus 400. So yeah, probably minus 200 inside the distance if we're lucky.
Wow.
Rizzler took every steroid and then deflated like a waterbed. Yeah, he looks like a completely different guy now. Non-steroid Riz is a mythical fighter. We'll have to see. We got Goons of Colton G. We out here in front of an apartment. Met a Russian girl named Rhonda, and she is handsome but yelling lots.
Oh, okay.
I can see
it. They don't find you, Brady.
I hope not. Be a bad day.
You don't live in an apartment, so that's good. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, nobody ever accused Colton G's goons of being smart. So who knows if they're even in the right country at this point. But at least they were smart enough to eat those fries while they were fresh, because if you let them go cold, they get nasty, Brady.
You don't want soggy fries.
No.
Who's Colton G? Well, Colton G is a guy that came into my stream a couple months ago and was sending some pretty serious threats, saying that he was going to pipe me. Him and his goons, they're going to pipe me on site when they see me.
With knife emojis and stuff.
Yeah, with like a bunch of it kept going on for a while. So just some very serious threats. And since then, I haven't heard from him or seen him. So I don't know if he's in prison or what, but yeah.
And I was in the chat that day moderating, and you kept saying, you've got to block Colton G's threatening to kill me. And I said, no, we support freedom of speech here on Brady's channel. So I actually refused to block him because I was laughing too hard about Brady getting death threats. Because, I mean, like internet death threats, those people aren't showing up to kill you. I mean, like, who makes death threats? I mean, if you're going to kill somebody, you don't warn them first. It's the dumbest thing you could do, The element of surprise, Brady, it's so important, especially when it comes to murder. Nobody wants to get murdered.
No.
So in order to murder somebody, you need to catch them by surprise. You want to sneak up behind them. You want to trick them somehow. Or you just want to be, like have better weaponry. There's a number of different ways to do it, but you don't tell them first.
It's a good point. He wasn't really threatening to kill me. He's more so threatening to have sex with me, it seemed like.
He was saying pipe you on sight, which could be taken a few different ways. And
I could have swore he put
moderator. I didn't want to ban him.
No, but he put like the purple eggplant emoji. I swear he put like the purple eggplant emoji.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, so that's why
it's never been knives, Yeah,
there were knives and there were eggplants. It was just a weird experience. It's a weird experience. Maybe he's about that life. I don't know.
I'm not trying to kill people, but I'm just saying if I was gonna kill somebody, I wouldn't be like, I'm gonna kill you. I would just kill them.
It's a good point.
Nobody wants to get murdered, right?
I know I don't.
Yeah. Who wants that?
I know I don't.
A sick individual.
Agreed. All right. So let's move on to the co-main event. We got Raphael Fiziev going against Ignacio Bahamondes. We got Fiziev, 32 years old, 5'8", 71-inch reach. Bahamondes, 27 years old, 6'3" with a 75-inch reach. We got Bahamondes 5 years younger. We have Bahamondes with a 7-inch. Is that a 7-inch height advantage? Gosh.
Yeah, Fiziev's so small for the division.
Yeah, and Ignacio is huge. 4-inch reach advantage. Fiziev is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Brad Riddell. Knockout win against Rafael dos Anjos. Decision loss to Gaethje. Knockout loss to Gamrot. And then a decision loss to Justin Gaethje. As far as Bahamondes, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Decision win against Trey Ogden. Decision loss to Ludovic Klein. Knockout win against Christos Giagos. Knockout win against Manuel Torres. And then a submission win against Jalen Turner. This Wheezy is the closest line fight on the card. It's about a pick 'em. Bahamondes was the underdog, and it looks like he's in the process of flipping to the favorite on a Sunday. So, yeah, Wheezy, what are your thoughts on this fight? Fiziev's on a 3-fight skid. Ignacio's looking better than ever. What are your thoughts on this one here?
Yeah, and Ignacio is about 4.5 years younger than Fiziev. So we've got a tale of two different career trajectories right now. But the thing about Fiziev is that he's right up there at the top of the division, top 15 guy. Ignacio Bahamondes kind of on the outside looking in, but got a good win against Jalen Turner last time out. So Ignacio's momentum is starting to really build, and he's still only 27 years old. The kickboxing was always top notch. Now he's starting to show that he can win some minutes and moments grappling as well, pulls guard and finishes the fight via submission the last time out. So I think Bahamondes is starting to round out that game of his. And there might be a possibility that he goes out here and he looks to grapple against Fiziev. And, you know, it's one thing when you go out there and you wrestle offensively, but Ignacio Bahamondes has never completed a takedown at the UFC level, but he didn't need to last time to find a submission, because what did he do, Brady? He pulled guard.
Yeah.
You know, and it was kind of wild. So, you know, Ignacio throws a lot more volume. He's going to be 7 inches taller. He's going to have a 4-inch reach advantage, and he throws just as many kicks and is just as effective with the kicks as Fiziev is. And frankly, he's flashing a lot more power. You know, Ignacio's got 4 knockdowns in 8 fights. Raphael Fiziev's got 2 knockdowns in 10 fights. So Ignacio throws about 6.5 more distance strike attempts per minute. He's a lot more defensively responsible with a 58.7% distance striking defense compared to 51.7 for Fiziev. And while Fiziev has fought the better brand of competition and he's got the better wins at the UFC level, Ignacio's, you know, got that career trajectory advantage right now. He's got that momentum advantage being on a 3-fight win streak instead of being on a 3-fight losing streak. And he's been a little bit more, active. Both these guys fought on the same card last time, but Fiziev had to rehab a knee injury after the Gamrot fight, so he was out for a while. While Bahamondes was kind of piling up fights and wins against Giagos and Torres and Turner. So, yeah, it's a very interesting fight. But, you know, we can't underestimate how difficult this is going to be for Bahamondes, going all the way from Chicago, Illinois to Baku, Azerbaijan, to fight somebody, you know, in Fiziev who's Azerbaijani by heritage. So the crowd is going to be really in favor of Fiziev here. And if this winds up being a distance striking battle that winds up being close, you got to believe that Fiziev's going to get it on the scorecards, right? I mean, in Azerbaijan, the co-main event, the most popular Azerbaijani fighter on the card, Bahamondes better make this pretty convincing. Otherwise, I don't think that he's going to get any kind of hometown rub in Baku.
Yeah, you better finish. I mean, the scorecards, they're already pre-written. They're written
they might
already.
They might be. And, you know, and Fiziev's lost a couple of close decisions to Gaethje. You know, so he's kind of probably feeling like he's gotten screwed over a little bit. Yeah, so is it going to happen a third time now, you know, against Bahamondes in Azerbaijan? So you got to kind of figure that Bahamondes is going to have to win this kind of convincingly to get this on the scorecards. And I mean, like, Fiziev is going to be very difficult to knock out.
Yeah. Interesting matchup. So Fiziev opened up actually minus 205. He's currently minus 105. Bahamondes opened up plus 175. He is currently minus 115. So monies came in on Bahamondes, and I expect money to keep coming in on Bahamondes. Just with the whole career trajectory thing, you know, people really like that. We saw in like the Buckley Usman fight last night, career trajectory. Buckley was a massive favorite. So I don't want to completely count out Fiziev. Because at the end, like, didn't Bahamondes lose to Ludovic Klein not too long ago?
He did. And Fiziev's only 32 years old.
Yeah, I
You know,
didn't
so
think
it's not like he's on a losing streak and out of, like out of his athletic prime, close to retirement. I mean, he's still only got 16 professional fights as a mixed martial artist, and he's still only 32 years old. So, yeah, this could be an opportunity on the Fiziev side potentially, especially in Azerbaijan.
Yeah, maybe. Fiziev, I didn't think Fiziev looked that great in his last fight, but he did take it on short notice. So,
Yeah.
full camp for this fight.
I'm guessing, yeah, because
Okay.
I mean, like, this is Azerbaijan, and they made this card a while ago. Raphael got on the horn, was like, you're putting me on this card, right? You don't make a card in Azerbaijan and then not put the most famous card, fighter from that country there. So
That's true. We got Vincent. Shout out to Vincent Fortin with the $4.99. He said got super cheap tickets to UFC Nashville. You trying to give me your opinion on the card? I have the card pulled up. It's a really good card. Nate Landwehr is on the card. He's taking on Morgan Charrier. That should be a fun fight because it's a Nate Landwehr fight. Junior Tafa, Tuko Tokus should be hilarious. Junior Tafa's cutting down to light heavyweight, Wheezy, looks like.
yeah, that makes sense, dude. That makes sense because he was a very small heavyweight. So,
oh my gosh, Vitor Petrino, Austin Lane. They're letting Austin Lane back in there after getting brutally knocked out for the 6th time in his career. Oh my god. They're really trying to get Petrino back on track. Let's see if he does. Fatima Klein on the card, taking on Melissa Martinez. Klein's the real deal.
Grappler there.
Yep. Klein's the real deal. Melissa Martinez got out-grappled by Elise Reed. I think we know what's happening there. Lauren Murphy's still in the UFC?
She hasn't fought in forever, dude.
What the heck? She's taking on Eduardo Mara.
Last fight for her was January 2023.
Was it against Valentina?
It was against Jessica Andrade, where she got 7 shades of shit beaten out of her for 3 full rounds. You remember that?
I do remember
how
that.
one-sided that was? So
bad.
This is a 2.5-year layoff for Lauren Murphy.
Jeez.
Yee.
Kennedy Nzechukwu making his big return. He's taking on Walter Walker. That fight should be what a hilarious fight. Walter Walker, Kennedy Nzechukwu. Should be fun.
Yeah, I like that a lot, dude. I think fucking Kennedy's gonna piece him up.
Stephen Thompson, Gabriel Bonfim, Chris Curtis, Max Griffin, Jake Matthews, Shidian Jaquani, Calvin Cater, Steve Garcia as the co-main event. That's a fun fight.
Yeah.
And the main event, Jarek Lewis, Taliesin Teixeira. There we go. It's a good card. I like
Teixeira was just like a tiny favorite against Justin Tafa. He gets a win, and now he's got Derek Lewis in a main event. That just goes to show you that the heavyweight division, like, you can have one good performance, and they're like, you're top 10 now. Yeah. You know? So that's going to be a fun main event.
He needs a decent sized favorite against Lewis too. He's like minus 180.
Yeah.
With a name like Ignacio Bahmones, this guy fucks, and I would tend to agree.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
I like Bahmones, even though Fiziev is at home. Got the great reach, agreed.
Yeah.
Fiziev's going to turn into Gamrot. Best of luck doing that. Well, Fiziev did get a takedown against Gaethje, didn't he? Didn't Fiziev take down Gaethje?
I think he might have, but I don't think he wants. I don't think he wants to be on the ground with Ignacio.
No.
You hear things being in Chicago sometimes. This guy can grapple now.
Yeah, he can. He has those nasty chokes, the long arms.
Yep.
Bahmones is going to milk him. Bahmones versus Yair Rodriguez. Wonder how far weight gap is.
They're not going to ever fight each other. They train together. But yeah, I mean, like, they're talking 10. They're 10 pounds apart because Yair's a featherweight and Ignacio's a lightweight.
I hear the train coming in Nashville. Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Look at that.
Has Jekka woken up yet? Has Jekka woken up?
Okay? I think so, dude. He got absolutely slept. Him and Moutinho both fell forward when they got knocked out. So that's the worst sign.
Oh, it's bad. All right, it is time now for the main event. We have over 500 of you guys. If you guys have not smashed the like button, please do so. Hopefully we hit at least 100 likes. Hopefully, and if we hit 200 likes, I'm going to get a neck tattoo during one of the streams. But we haven't hit the 200 mark yet, so we're gonna keep working for it. We have Khalil Roundtree going against Jamal Hill. You got Jamal Hill, 34 years old, 6'4", 79-inch reach. Roundtree, 35 years old, 6'1" with a 76-inch reach. Hill 1 year younger, 3-inch height advantage, 3-inch reach advantage. Hill is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Johnny Walker. Knockout win against Thiago Santos. Decision win against Glover Teixeira. Knockout loss to Pereira. Knockout loss to Yuri. As far as Roundtree, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. A knockout win against Carl Roberson. Decision win against Dustin Jacoby. Knockout win against Chris Daukaus. Knockout win against Anthony Smith. And then a knockout loss to Pereira. Right now, they have Roundtree as a favorite, and it's crazy how the market works, man. I mean, if this fight was a couple years ago before the Jamal Hill injury, when he was just looking unstoppable, I think Jamal Hill would be a massive favorite. But since that, he had like a bad leg injury or something happened.
Achilles.
Achilles.
He ruptured his Achilles.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah. That is bad. I'm not a doctor, but I do know that's bad. And since then, it's like, he didn't look great against Pereira, but it's Pereira. He didn't look great against Yuri, but it's Yuri. But, he doesn't really look like the same guy in there in these last 2 fights. But again, against very good opponents. And now he's taken a pretty big step down against Khalil Roundtree, who was on a nice little win streak as well. But against Carl Roberson, who got cut, he clearly lost to Dustin Jacoby. Knocked out Chris Daukaus, who got cut. And then a 40-year-old or 33-year-old Anthony Smith. But in fight years, he's 80. So, and then lost to Pereira. I wish I could trust Hill here. Like, Hill was a pick'em to Pereira. Like, Hill was a pick'em to Pereira, and now he's a dog to Roundtree. I wish I knew if Hill had something left in the tank, because these last 2 fights haven't been that impressive to me. But yeah, interesting fight here, Weezy. For me, it's a dog or pass. I think Hill has the better cardio, more volume, the bigger guy, more reach. But I'm just worried about that Achilles injury and what it's kind of done to his career.
Yeah, and Hill's got that dog in him too. You got to really put him out to get him out of there. And yeah, a lot more volume. Jamal has always landed a ton of significant strikes. He's very accurate. He's not very defensively responsible, though. That's a bit of a problem, but he gets hit a lot. And so, frankly, so does Khalil. Khalil gets hit 4.8 times per minute, while Jamal only 3.9. But they both got like 50% distance striking defense, which isn't very good. It's just that Khalil is the guy with the one-punch power. He's got 13 knockdowns in 16 UFC fights, while for Hill, it's 4 knockdowns in 10 UFC fights. Like Jamal Hill, are we ever going to get the Jamal Hill back that fought Teixeira?
I don't know.
Dude, that was a performance for the ages. That was one of the best performances I've ever seen. Glover Teixeira was still fighting at a very high level, and Jamal ran fucking through him. He stuffed all the takedowns. He beat the fuck out of him at distance striking range. It was one of the most beautiful performances I've ever seen. And the losses come back to Pereira and Prochaska that are just special athletes. So it's hard to know. But Khalil looked a lot better against Pereira than Jamal Hill did. I'll tell you that right now. And Khalil has just been fighting at a higher level. You're talking about a big win streak before the Pereira fight, and he won the first 2 rounds of the Pereira fight. Didn't you think?
Which fight you're talking about? Sorry, I was reading something.
Roundtree versus Pereira.
Yeah. He looked like he dropped Pereira in one of the rounds.
Yeah, so like if he can fight at that high of a level against Hill right now, who's on a 2-fight losing streak. What year was it when he beat Pereira? Let's look. Oh, I've got the wrong card up. Because he ruptured his Achilles after the Teixeira fight in the basketball game.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was January 2023. It was the last time we saw Lauren Murphy fight Brady. The last time we saw Lauren Murphy fight is the last time we saw Jamal Hill win. So yeah, man, it's been 2.5 years since this guy's won a fight, and he's coming off of the Achilles injury in 2023. And then he comes back in 2024, gets knocked out in the first round. And then God damn, that fight with Prochaska was awesome. But Yuri's a guy that's almost impossible to knock out. The guy's got incredible durability. He can just take a tremendous amount of damage. And if he hits you clean, it's pretty much over. The guy's got ridiculous power. So, yeah, I mean, like, this is a step down going from Pereira and Prochaska to Roundtree. I just wish one of these guys could grapple a little bit, right?
Well,
26 fights.
Isn't Hill a black belt or a brown belt?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. Yeah, black belt who's never even attempted a takedown in a fight, you know? So, I mean, like, if you're a real black belt, you're
I think he's a blue belt. He's a blue belt.
Okay, he's a blue belt. Yeah, I mean, like, nobody's ever tested Jamal's game. I mean, like, in terms of the ground game, we saw Paul Craig on the ground with him. We know how that went, but Glover Teixeira couldn't get him down, you know? So Jamal's got good takedown defense. And yeah, these guys have got 26 combined UFC fights, and they've combined for 0 offensive takedowns in those 26 fights, and they've combined for 1 total takedown attempt in 26 fights and over 220 minutes of octagon time. So these guys are going to strike. Jamal Hill's going to throw more. Jamal Hill's going to land more. Jamal Hill is going to be more accurate. But Khalil Roundtree is going to probably land the bigger shots. He won that decision against Dustin Jacoby by getting just out-volumed and then supposedly landing the bigger shots, even though he never once had Dustin Jacoby in trouble. But that's how hard Khalil hits. You know, so those cage side judges, they're going to be impressed by the sounds that are made when Khalil lands. And the problem is that Jamal's got horseshit striking defense at 49%. He's extremely hittable. So, yeah, I think that these guys are extremely well matched, and I think this is a hell of a main event. I think the crowd is going to be going nuts for this one. And I think it might go the full 25, Brady.
Dang, that's a hot take there, but maybe. The over/under set at 3.5. The over 3.5 plus 120. The under 3.5 is minus 150. Is Roundtree a fan of? He's not a fan of steak, is he?
I don't know, dude. Like, he might even be a vegetarian for all I know, man.
Yeah.
Like, he's a little weird sometimes, Khalil. I don't think Jamal. I mean, I think Jamal likes steak.
Okay.
I could see Jamal being like, yeah, man, I like steak. But But yeah, you know, I don't see either one of these guys coming out and putting on a boring fight on purpose. You know, like they're gonna scrap, they're gonna throw down. Jamal always does that. So I'm looking forward to this one. This is a great main event, and I think they're really well matched. Brady, what's the line on it?
It's Roundtree minus 148, and we got Jamal Hill plus 128.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You know, in terms of how they both performed against Pereira. You know, the trajectory of both guys, the age of both guys, I think Roundtree should be a favorite here.
Yep, maybe. We'll have to see. Appreciate you, Miller. Time. Is Fiziev really better than Klein? Well, let me tell you that. I mean, Klein lost to Michael Trezano.
But that was a 145. The 155 version of Ludovic Klein has looked a lot better in the distance striking exchanges.
I mean, I don't care if it was like at 180 pounds. I mean, losing to Michael Trezano, it's not a good look. Lost to Nate Landwehr, and he went to a draw with Jai Herbert.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Trezano does have a very aggressive mullet, though, and sometimes that kind of shit, it can get into your head. You know, I mean, we don't cap that kind of stuff, but that could have really screwed up Ludovic.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
We got Eli with the 499. Appreciate you, Eli, saying people are overthinking the Fiziev fight. Fiziev is levels above Ignacio, and when they trade, I think Fiziev is not just stronger but quicker. Just watch. Yeah, wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me, Eli. Appreciate the dono, man. Khalil's nose looks crazy in the promo vid. He has a big nose, don't he?
Does he? I never noticed.
He's got a pretty big nose. Yeah, we're gonna see. Yeah, we're gonna see. Buy low spot on Hill, in my opinion.
Could be.
Hill has dumb ring IQ. Hill is going to F him. Oh, my gosh.
Okay.
Under 3.5 playable at minus 150. I don't love it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. But I don't love it. It went up, Eli. I just wanted to wait for the breakdown was over. Appreciate you. Yeah, we're going to wait for the breakdown to just finish the breakdown, then we're going to get to you. Let's see. Can we get an old people league for fighters to keep them out of jail or trouble when they're done fighting and lost, or at least a UFC YMCA for BJ Penn?
Yeah. This is going to be something that we're probably going to see a lot more, Brady, in the upcoming years. Is how some of these aging fighters deal with the damage that they took over the course of their careers. And I mean, BJ Penn's a legend, and to see what he's going through right now is heartbreaking because he gave so much to this sport. And because of what he gave, it created a generation of fans like us, Brady, that love watching this sport. And we're seeing Shane Carwin, BJ Penn, some of these Spencer Fisher, some of these guys are having some serious fucking problems right now. And hopefully we don't see a lot more of it, but we're going to have to keep our eyes open on these aging fighters and see how they, go into their golden years, whether, because BJ took a lot of damage, man. He didn't mind it. And it piles up after a while, and it's sad to see.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I heard this as well. Word is Hill's not going to fly to Baku. That's the rumor.
I think he's already there. I'm pretty sure he's already there.
I don't know why people are saying that. I've heard like multiple people say that.
Yeah, like somebody in my Discord earlier today said that they saw on a thread somewhere that Hill wasn't making the trip, and like 4 people corrected him. They're like, no, he's actually already there. They already did some kind of a meet and greet because this is a big fucking deal for Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
These are, they've never been there before. This is the first time. So this is going to be a big deal for them. And yeah, this fight is happening, and they're both there, as for what I'm hearing.
Okay, that's good. Hill closes the favorite. I don't know about that, but I do expect money to come in on Hill throughout the week. Most likely a leg kick, heavy decision win for Roundtree, or early KO for Hill. There are a lot more 50-50 fights on this card. I can't wait to see the stat diggers parlays. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Hill beat up a retiring 43-year-old Glover. That's his best win by a mile, plus horrible injuries lately. Yeah, that Achilles injury, not good. And there we go. He posted on IG. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
So there's about 10 articles in the last 24 hours talking about Hill not going, but I guess he's there. So
yeah, he's there.
All right. Weezy, we did win through all 12 fights. Now we have 3 things we need to do. Last week we went 1 and 2. The Stat Diggers parlay crashed and burned because Cody Brundage and Abdul Malik decided, hey, we're gonna start fighting once the 3rd round starts. I know we typically finish early. Brundage has all of his wins in the 1st round, and Malik finishes have never been to the 3rd round, but they just decided, hey, gentleman's agreement, let's not start fighting until the 3rd. So the over hits in that fight, the under crashes and burns. The on-site piping was Malcolm Wellmaker. That was a great call. He went out there and he did exactly what we're looking for with an on-site piping. And then the milking of the week streak comes to an end with Umar C. Lost as a minus 1,000 favorite, but it's time to start a new streak here with the milking of the week. So we'll get a Stat Diggers parlay going. 2 legs. Let's see. For money lines, I don't know. I guess 2 fighters that I feel good about would be like Sadykhov, but he's minus 400. Tagir, but he's minus 360. Don't want to parlay Blaydes. Don't want to parlay Nijem. Do you see any money lines you think that are parlayable here?
Not really, man. No, not at the prices, like I think Oban Elliott probably wins, but
well, he's minus 550 now.
Yeah, I know, like, right? So there's no point in doing that. I mean, I think we both know that Hamdy is going to run through this fucking clown at minus 160, just like he did Jamal Pogues. And then in terms of like over unders, I don't mind that over 2.5 for Park versus Naurdiev.
Yeah, it's not bad. I like that.
Minus 170, it's not bad. Junyong's a very durable dude, and he's going to be hard to take down and grapple. Naurdiev has been finished, but I don't, yeah. And
but it's Park. I don't think Park's finishing him.
Yeah, and Naurdiev's like not going to quit. You know what I'm saying? Like Dariev's a fucking quitter. Who's the other quitter that Junyong beat? Holmes.
Oh.
Holmes has got like 1 round of cardio, so I think the over 2.5 and -170 for Naurdiev versus Park. That would be my leg.
I like it. Other than that, parlayable totals, I don't know, dude. I mean,
You got Hamdy on the money line. You probably want to put Hamdy in there, right?
No. No, not really.
Right.
Not really at all. God help us all. Give me Tagir.
Tagir. All right.
The parlay comes out to +103 for those two.
All right, we'll take it.
All right, we'll do it. So Tagir Ulanbekov on the money line, parlayed with the over 2.5 in the Park Naurdiev fight.
Yes.
+103. Okay, let's hit it. Let's get back on track. All right. Now it is time for the good stuff. We need a piping for this week. Last week the piping came through, flying colors. And when we mean piping, we mean this. We mean that. What happened? I mean, go watch what happened last night. That's what we mean when we're talking about a piping. Piping candidates for this card, Wheezy. Let's see. Oh, Nazim Sadykhov.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's about it. I mean,
I've got 3.
You got
Sadykhov,
3?
I've got Sadykhov.
Okay.
I like Nazim, and I think Nazim Sadykhov. I think those are the 3 that I like for this. I think that's because we can trust his durability,
Okay.
Home field advantage, and he's got as much power, I think, as Nick Motta. Maybe not quite as much power, but the durability difference between these two guys is enough to make me think that maybe, in terms of pipings, this is probably the one.
How do you spell Sadykhov's last name? Is it S-A-D?
Sadykhov.
Khov. Okay, Sadykov to really pipe on site. Okay, it's official. The on-site piping of the week is Nazim Sadykhov to brutally pipe poor Nicholas Motta on site. You heard it here first. He's going to go out there and he's going to pipe Nicholas Motta. No goons needed for this one.
None.
No goons needed for this one. All right, now it's time for the milking. All right, let's get back on track. Enough messing around. Umar C, you're dead to us. Despicable performance. It's time to get back on track. Milking candidates. I think we could see Tagir potentially milk Maksum. I think we could see Irina Alekseeva with that very nice haircut potentially take down Klaudia Sygula and potentially milk her on the mat. I think Melissa No Mess Mullins could potentially take down Zheleznyakova and maybe make a mess. Maybe make a mess down there. I think those would be the 3.
Yeah, I'm thinking Mullins just because Zheleznyakova got submitted.
Oh.
Submitted. Not ground and pounded, Brady. Submitted by Aylin Perez.
Yeah.
Via an arm triangle, too. I mean, like I remember doing arm triangles the kids on the playground in 4th grade because I was doing judo. Like, you can get 4th graders in that, but like after you've been grappling for a minute, you kind of know not to put your own defend like this because then you get locked up, And yeah, I got a feeling that Melissa, once this gets to the ground, Daria's ground game is so bad. Her ground game is as bad as Vanessa Demopoulos' takedown defense.
Oh, God.
I said it.
All right, then it's official. It's official. The Stat Diggers milking of the week is Melissa No Mess Mullins to make a mess and milk Daria on the mat. Milk everywhere. Uh-oh.
Let's go. We did it.
Let's go. It's time to start a new streak. The milking of the week gets back on track, and it all starts with Melissa No Mess Mullins to make a giant mess on the ground, puddle of milk, and have to go in there and clean it up come Saturday night. Let's go.
Let's get it, man. Let's get it. We're going to cash all 3 of these this week and move on to the next one, which is going to be UFC 317, Brady. Hey. And then after that, we get a week off.
There we go. So let's go 3-0. Let's go 3-0.
Let's do it.
No need to parlay him. It's just a max bet spot then, right?
I agree. Yeah, Otto's on point there.
Moy's like in Russian Ronda. I do think she probably does milk as well. It was pretty close between her and Melissa Nomes. I think they both have a good chance to milk their opponents on Saturday. A couple milkings. Yes. Why is there an eggplant? I don't know if there's gonna be an eggplant in this fight.
Let's hope not.
Oh gosh. I think Oban pipes. Yeah, we could see Oban pipe potentially.
I can see that happening. Yeah.
Messy milk. Oh, Melissa, some mess Mullins.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I did 6 months of BJJ and never saw an arm triangle work once. Vanessa took a beating. Yeah, she did. Jeez. Took an absolute beating. We got Blaze Hayes every days with the $2 dono saying, give Uncle Weezy money now. Shout out to Blaze there for the $2 dono. Agreed. Puddle O Milkings. Will you or Weezy be laying any money on the Blaydes fight? Probably not.
I would be shocked if I got to a bet there because, I mean, we've already broken down this fight, and I wanted nothing to do with it the last time. I'll break it down again and run through it again, but I don't see getting to a bet there.
Yeah, I don't either.
I feel like I don't know enough about Rizvan.
Yeah. I kind of want to see Rizvan on the... Did we get to see him on the skills when they were supposed to fight last time? I don't remember.
Like that fight, I felt like it fell out on fight week, if not on weigh-in day. It was late.
Okay. All right. So there you have it. We went through all 12 fights. We talked about the parlay of the week, the milking of the week, the piping of the week, and should be a fun card. Hoping all these fights stay intact, and I'm looking forward to this one. Weezy, any final thoughts on the card, and also let the people know where they can find you?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a fun card. I'm excited, and I think it's going to happen during the day for us Americans, Brady. I think we're starting at like 3 o'clock, so we're going to get our Saturday night back. Yeah, we'll be done
12 o'clock Eastern. Oh,
yeah. So kind of early.
Yeah.
And small loss last week, so looking to get back on the winning track this week. You can find me on YouTube at Uncle Weezy. You can find me on X at MMA Weezy. And you can find my probability stats and content package where you see these stats. You get access to Balls Deep Breakdowns, a 2-hour full card breakdown show, probability, a really good plus EV prop betting show, access to my track bets, access to the Discord, access to my fight write-ups, and access to me, your Uncle Weezy. So you can check me out on Odds Shopper, best way to support my work there. And just looking to stack cashed tickets like flapjacks on this UFC Azerbaijan ticket, and then maybe go out and get drunk afterwards on Saturday night, Brady. I'm looking forward to this one, man.
Yep. By the way, don't go out and get drunk, Weezy. I was going to ask you. So next week, I'm leaving for vacation on Sunday. Going on a family vacation. I was going to see, since the card is going to end early on Saturday, maybe doing the Stat Diggers that Saturday night instead of Sunday.
Potentially, I got to see what's going on with my Saturday, though, because I mean, maybe I'll do a drunk Stat Diggers. I mean, we've never done that before with Uncle Weezy all heated up, so could be a fun one. But yeah, UFC 317. Yes, that's going to be the next Stat Diggers, so it's going to be a good one no matter when we do it. But yeah, we could figure that out for sure, dude.
All right, so we might do that Saturday night because I will be on the road for a while. We're heading to Delaware. Going to Delaware.
You got to make sure it's actually there. I've heard Delaware is a fake state and that it doesn't even exist. Like I've never met anyone from Delaware. I'm not sure that it's real. I know there's Wilmington, Delaware. I know there's Dover, Delaware. There's actually cities where people supposedly live, but I heard it's a conspiracy. I heard Delaware doesn't even exist, and I've never met anyone from there.
We're about to find out. I'll let you know.
Yeah, dude, let me know. Because, maybe these people were just pricks and they were lying to me when they said that. Because I have no proof.
Well, I'll let you know. I'll confirm or deny whether it's a real place or not.
Okay,
find out. But, guys, we did it. Best of luck for UFC Baku. Smash the like button on your way out. Subscribe. We'll be back coming up here. Great card for next week, UFC 317. We got a week off, and then some more good cards coming up. Nashville is going to be fun. We got Chicago 319 coming up in August. We got a lot of good cards coming up our way. Best of luck, guys. We'll talk to you soon, and see you later.